And welcome everyone back to a new episode of Let's Set the Tone. Another special guest today. Maybe a little bit sweaty from the potential hot seat here that he's in.
Man.
But we do have the one, the only, we'll start with a little AKA, Tricky Regent, AKA Soccer Daddy, AKA Big E's.
Yeah.
AKA Boo Boo.
Yeah. What the heck?
Just checking.
What?
Yeah, just checking.
Already starting?
Already starting, dude. Already starting. I am Fanboy Tone, of course, and I'm very excited to have you here. I've known you for a couple of years now as well, too, but I'm looking to hopefully even learn something as well, too, to dive in a little bit more about you and have a discussion there. But we do appreciate if you're here live, of course. It's harder to have those conversations and recognize the chat while we're live, but I do my best to try and recognize. I do see somebody out there. I appreciate it. We got Josie out there from Fenton Wine and Brewery. Keep hearing about that.
Oh yeah.
And of course, the one and only Seven Dungeons out there as well.
He's already warning me. So.
Oh yeah, he's already warning. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
You actually missed one of my nicknames.
There was another nickname. Get another AKA in there.
Yeah, AKA JoJo.
JoJo.
I'll tell you about that story. In a minute.
Okay. Good. So we got another AKA. Love it. So, and if you see here, I am rocking a sweet beanie here. You can check our swag store out now. Check the link tree. If you're live here, you can check out the merch as well too. But we do have things up. I finally did get a new beanie with the B&B logo on it. I'm really excited about that. We got a lot of different options out there as well too. Finally, pint glasses, which is a big one for me too, is if I need another pint glass, but I will probably need another pint glass as well too, but I'm not going to keep this on for too much longer because it's already going to be too warm for that. Because as we know, the weather, the weather in Michigan, as we were just talking about, it's up and down all over. And when you're in a basement as well too, the humidity does this constantly. So, but without further ado, to continue on the conversation, yes, we have a Trick here, Boo Boo here with us today. I don't know if there's a yeah. I don't know if you've got an intro you'd like to do for yourself. You're welcome to do a little just kind of a elevator pitch on who you are. It's fine as well too.
I mean, you basically went over everything. Soccer dad.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my life right now. Honestly, It's just soccer, and but I am Tricky, Carl, JoJo, Boo Boo, lots of nicknames. Been with you guys for a little while now, so I work with the dude at work. Our job at this place. I'm not gonna mention their name. Free pub, but so I've been with dude there for a few years, and he introduced me to you guys. He came to me the one day and he actually asked me if I gamed, and I'm like, yeah, I do a little gaming, here and there. And he's like, all right, cool. He's like, well, check this out. And so then I started giving him pointers on some things that I liked, and just kind of went from there. Then met you, and been doing that whole thing. So it's been a fun few years, hanging out with you guys, and
it's like a whole little crew now.
Yeah, so it's been fun.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, we appreciate it too. So, and that's a good spot for me to not only take off the hat because it's already too warm, but to just kind of really jump in. So when did you start promoting B&B, or I guess being involved? Was that like, now I'm trying to go back because I remember pandemic hit in March of 2020. You guys started working from home, and we'd only been doing it since that fall of 2019. So how long was it that you had was it before that the pandemic hit? Do we know?
I think it was right around that time. Because he had asked me, and then actually, you guys are actually my first introduction to like Twitch. And
really?
Actually, it was we got on Mixer before, right?
Yeah, it was on Mixer. We started on Mixer.
Started on Mixer, and so like I hadn't even been aware of any of that stuff, and so that was like my first introduction to that platform, and I like instantly fell in love. Like I was hooked. It was cool. The things that you guys were talking about, So I was right around there. So whenever you guys started on the Mixer is when I kind of really started getting involved, and I was a little nervous at first too. Like, you join the Discord and you see all the craziness going on in the Discord, and I'm like, oh, do I want to start piping in on things? And you know how people feel, and then you kind of feel things out. But and once I kind of got comfortable with the community, and I was all in. Yeah,
and I know like you're busy these days a lot too, and there's a few of you that are always like like this, the main ones, like the consistent, always either in the Discord when you can, or just whatever it is, being involved, you know. But, you know, I mean, back then though too, like when during the pandemic, of course, you know, we had just started, Mixer had everybody on high fumes on streaming because it gave everybody delusions of grandeur, because you had a small platform where everybody was known, you know, versus like when we went over to Twitch, it was like, oh, now we're, you know, the little fish in the big pond sort of thing. But back then the Discord was like a way different, like it was definitely popping off a lot more back then, I feel like. But back then people had more time, and now after especially the pandemic, like as we get farther away, there's just not that kind of time anymore. But yeah, Josie got, you know, you hooked Josie up with us as well too, you know. And that's the nice thing about us, is like as a community we might not always agree, there's a lot of trolling, and there's a lot of back and forth either on sports or certain things that, you know, we don't always agree on, but it's all in good fun for the most part. You know, I don't think that you know, we've had some hiccups here and there. People sometimes will all of a sudden, like, it's like a switch with some people, and it's like that in any setting. I know, like all of a sudden what they're comfortable with, that they move the goalposts,
right?
You know what I mean? It's really random. We've seen some crazy shit.
We've seen some really crazy shit.
Yeah, we've seen some crazy shit. And like, I know sometimes, like if I'm having a day, like sometimes I know even like subconsciously, you know, I might get in the feels or something, or like react differently as well too. And then you just got to kind of cool down and be like, yeah, I got a line or whatever.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's pretty good natured. Yeah, MSU is still inferior football. Hard to disagree.
That's right, Josie. That's right. See, we're already in the conflict there. So.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's also, since D'Antonio left, it's not the same ball program in my opinion, anyways. But that was a whole different era during the 2010s for us. But now you guys lost Harbaugh. Now you're looking at, you know, who knows?
I know, right? It's like you see glimpses, and then you're just kind of like, yeah. You know, so what's going to happen in the future? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, even the U of M MSU game this year, I don't think there's definitive anybody can say who's going to end up taking Paul Bunyan home. So I'm looking forward to that game a lot this year, but I don't know how much I'm looking forward to it as normal either. So it's been tough last couple of years. But
are you heading the dudes thing? Isn't he having? Yeah. I said no that way. Yeah.
Yep. That's the goal. That is my plan. I've tried to clear everything for that. There is a TNA pay-per-view that's going on that night though too, that I actually accidentally prepaid for.
Oh.
So I might be on my phone up as well too, but it depends what time the game is on. That, you know, we just don't know the time of the game yet, do we?
No, I don't think so.
They haven't announced it. Like, they got to be, if they do it at 7, that'd be crazy, because you don't want the U of M and Michigan State people like drunk all day and then playing against each other. Yeah, that's dangerous.
That's a big thing, and I think they usually try to do the day games for those.
Yeah. Last year I think they did the late one, and we were like, that's
I think that was like the first one in a minute too.
Yeah,
right?
they allowed, but nothing burned down, so we're all good. So. But you work with Dude. You've known Dude for how long now?
And I didn't really know him too much longer before the pandemic.
Oh shit! Okay.
So I think he was on a different floor than I was on for a minute, and then he moved down to my floor. They kind of moved everybody that was doing the same functions onto the same floor, and because I had been there for I think probably 2 years
at this location that you guys work together at.
Yeah,
because you come from another location.
I came from outside. Originally, I worked outside.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I started there 2001. So I'll give you a little background. 2001, I started. I was working outside. I was an installation tech.
Right.
Got surplused a year later.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, after they had this mass hire, they hired all these people.
That's how it works.
Got surplused a year later, or was in the surplus. They actually gave us the option to go down to Detroit, and so I ended up going down to Detroit, Royal Oak area, and I worked down there for 7 years.
It's probably not a terrible drive from where you're at now, though, right, or your area.
It's not that a terrible drive, but the problem is traffic. So back then, 2001, 2002, GM was in full session, Buick was in still full set, Pontiac was still, you know what I'm saying? So
you're right.
The traffic was insane. So it would be a 3-hour sit on 75 days some days, just depending on.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, dude, it was brutal. And so like I said, that it's maybe 50 minutes to get there, but then you'll be sitting on 75 for 3 hours. So we used to find back ways home. We'd go down like Sashabaw and things like that, and head that way through Davison and get back
Clarkston or whatever.
Clarkston, and so I was there for 7 years, and then I got surplused again. Went to Uverse with the TV internet things, which that's actually where I met Josie. And worked there for a few years. I got back to Pontiac, so that was like half the drive, so, which was nice. And then I took a promotion to go back outside, 09, which is like the high tier of the outside.
Yeah.
So it's cable repair. And so I was doing cable repair for 2 years and got surplused again. And by that time I took the promotion to Saginaw.
Yeah.
And then I got surplused up in Saginaw, and then I ended up in the office with dudes. So, and that's where we're at right now.
Damn.
So, and that was like six years ago.
So you've been with them for a while too, then.
23 years.
God, you guys, when you retire?
So
You know?
I mean, I'll be 50 when I hit my 30s, so I'm gonna have to work a long time.
Yeah, fuck.
So,
well, because he's talking about he's getting close to his already retirement or some shit.
yeah. So yeah, he's pretty close. Like I said, I think he's got maybe a year less than I've got.
Yeah.
So,
fucking hell.
but I will get at 25 another vacation, and so I have one more vacation than dude will have. And
Nice.
so he's used up all of his days in
January.
in January or whatever. I'll still have that extra week.
Right. You fuckers, it's always funny. Well, especially him. Like, he sneezes and like, oh, fuck, I guess I can't.
Well, me and him are actually like, my wife actually says something because I'll say, dude took the day off, and she'll be like, so are you taking the day off?
That's funny.
You know, yeah, I'm just like, well, you know, we kind of used to do that like for a while, like during the pandemic, like we'd take the day out and then we'd be playing, you know,
Yeah,
doing our thing.
Doing your thing,
yeah.
right. Getting the new drop at McDonald's or
Yep.
something. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Well, that's a little bit. I didn't know you were there that long.
Yeah, so I've been there for a minute. Going back to when we first started kind of like hanging out or whatever,
Yeah.
like, we were doing the thing too. We were playing like the Mortal Kombat and, you know, and stuff like
Yeah.
that right before. And then, you know, everything just got crazy after that.
Yeah,
so, you know,
that's true.
So, because that was a couple years ago, you know, so it's been a few years, man.
I mean, it's been 4.5 years since pandemic.
Yeah.
That's wild to even think that.
I know.
Like, that's fucking crazy. I mean, so much has changed since then as well, too. You know, that it's evolved like that as well, too. Hey, Hobbit man, long time to see. Think, been good to see you there. Yeah, no worries, Josie. No worries.
Oh, the YouTube video. So, yeah. So Josie, he got married, and I think he had his bachelor party up at Fletcher's Pond. You know where Fletcher's Pond is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he had a bachelor party up there. Am I right, Josie? I think that's what it was. But then every year he would go back there, you know,
Right.
and so they have like a little fishing tournament and things like that. And so he invited me out there the one year, and so we get out, and we're out there. This guy is wasted, right?
Yeah.
There's like a log floating, and
I'm actually familiar with this.
are you?
I am familiar with this. I actually have this queued up here real quick. So,
shit.
real quick here, just to kind of tell the story. So, you can keep talking about it as well too. I don't know how loud it's going to be, but we're gonna
Making all that noise,
play
he's
it
not
there for
even
everybody
moving.
so you can kind of see that.
Yeah, he's out there. This guy's wasted.
Yeah, this guy's out there in the middle of Fletcher's Pond.
Think of how good you're gonna
hammered
feel when
with
you
this
nab that
net
turtle.
with a right as a net, is that what they call them, whatever? Trying to catch a turtle. If you guys out
it was
there,
a turtle. That's what
Gotta
it was.
commit.
Yeah.
for all you out there in the audio side of it, so I'm playing this video right here. You can check it out on YouTube as well. But he's trying to catch.
You're there. You
a
got
turtle,
him.
which
You
is
got him
really
now.
loud out
Do
there.
it.
He's so drunk he doesn't even realize it, and they're directing him to do that. How long has it been since
You're
you've seen this?
right there.
Dude, it's been a minute since
Got
I've
it,
seen
go.
this. I actually,
You're right
it's funny
there.
because
Another 4 foot and lunge right at his head. with
you
your
have
neck.
this video, and I was like, I didn't even know. I had
All
no
right,
clue that you had this
another
video.
3 foot.
Yeah. I got this video a minute ago.
You don't want him to bite you. You got to grab the
That's too
back
funny.
leg.
But yeah, so he's
Head
oh my
first
god,
into
it's
the
been a
net.
minute since
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah,
it.
you guys, you can hear you guys out there directing.
Yeah, you want it at the top.
as well too. Let's see if I can hear a little bit of it. How's that sound out there? Can you guys hear that?
The top. Head
Yeah.
first
So you
into
can
the
hear
net.
Trick out
like
there.
Superman.
You guys are trying to get him to just jump right in.
He's got to go or he'll disappear. Go, man.
Josie, yeah, it was me all along. It was me all along. Austin, it was me all along.
That's too funny.
Go. Yeah, you got it.
I
You
can't
got
believe
him.
you got
You
this.
got him.
Yeah.
He's scared of you. Show him who's
Yeah,
boss.
so like I said, it was fun, man. We had some good times. I went out there a couple times with him, and
This is probably the funniest shit.
just drinking, sitting around, having a good time, and then you're on the boat.
You're right there. You're right there, dive.
The cool thing about that place is you can go up
Remember,
there.
he's
you don't
more
have to take
afraid
anything.
of you than
Like,
you are of
can take
him.
some clothes because they've got like
look
this
closer.
little
Get
motel that's
closer.
kind of connected to it.
No shit.
Yeah, and then you can rent boats.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool about Fletcher's overall. Like, he's really trying to get it right now. If you guys can't, you guys gotta check this on YouTube. If you're checking posts, it's pretty funny. He's out there in the middle of the water trying to get it. So
wasted. This guy was drunk. I think he actually had. He had a boatload of money too that I think he lost, if I remember correctly. And we ended up getting it. You know, I think he ended up getting it back or whatever. But like he had dropped like a wad of cash. Too.
Oh no.
Yeah. So yeah, he was wasted. But then the funny thing is that dude was up the next morning.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that he probably should have been living. Like it was wild.
That's funny.
Yeah, cell phone and wallet. Yeah.
Damn, everything. Okay. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I was ready for that. That was loaded, Josie. Don't worry. But
That's too funny.
Yeah. So, well, so you guys realize, it sounds like you figured out you guys had similar interests. Did he just kind of come up and say, so you're a gamer, you're into here's what something to do? Did he just did he catch that on some radar? Like,
no,
what
actually,
was that?
it wasn't even anything to do with gaming. It was just kind of like, he was cool. Was I training with you? I think I was training with him when I first got into Uverse.
Yeah.
And it just kind of hit it off. You know, he was real cool.
Michigan fan.
Liked hockey. Yeah, that was a big thing. Yeah. He enjoyed hockey, and
of course
he's Canadian.
Yeah, he's a mother Canucker originally.
So
yeah. Okay.
But yeah, we kind of hit it off there, and like his daughter's actually really, really talented artist.
Yeah, she's something else.
And she's done different things for me. She did a Mando painting for me.
Oh shit! I think you showed a picture of that before. Yeah.
So super cool. Yeah, she's a very good artist. So
yeah,
his younger daughter actually played soccer with us for a little bit. So I think she came out a couple times and was playing soccer there for a little bit too. Yeah. So
cool.
Nope, just like I said, work and fishing and that type of stuff. So it's very, very cool. I was pretty big into fishing there for a while. When the kids were younger, it was a lot easier to do things. And then once they started getting into soccer like hot and heavy, it's all year round. So
now you're dealing with other people's schedules and
not
your own. Yep, that makes sense.
And Mason, my oldest, he's a big fisherman. He loves fishing. Liam doesn't like it, so he's went out with me a couple times, and I'm like, you want to go fishing? He seems like he's always had fun. I always try to take him to spots where they're going to catch fish.
Yeah, it's a fun yeah.
So that's the big things, because sometimes you go out and you be out there all day and not catching anything, So
that's why I think a lot of us like to go out there and either smoke a cigar or drink. Right. I mean, it's been a long time since I fished, but the thing about fishing is that there's no real gray area. Either you like it or you just don't, because it is like what you said. Like if you're not catching fish, it can be boring as fuck.
Yep.
But if you can handle being to your own devices, it can be a good time. Ice fishing, I know definitely is about drinking and just sitting in that little.
That's the other thing too. Yeah, ice fishing. So we've went ice fishing a few times too. Yeah. We had some good times. So
I can imagine.
We had this buddy Nick. He's a big hunter, guy or whatever. So he brought out a whole spread of stuff the one time. He had different jerkies and brats.
That's what's up.
He had venison. I had never had a venison brat before. It's probably one of my favorite things.
Oh, I bet.
Dude, it was so good. So we did that. He brought out he had salmon and all type of stuff. So
you guys go north for fishing, or where do you go for fishing?
The river.
Just on the Flint River?
Yeah, Saginaw River.
Oh, Saginaw River?
Yeah, man.
Damn, you guys are reeling in arms and shit.
Sometimes.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. These tributaries on the Tri-City area, you gotta be careful of.
Well, the thing is, though, too, is, people are like, why do you guys eat the fish out of there? Well, most of the time they're in the bay. You know what I'm saying? So they only travel up the river to spawn.
People
eggs and
just don't understand. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. That's it. They're coming in here to spawn and head back out.
Exactly.
So.
It's not like the catfish. Like some of the catfish that you pull out, they look like the Simpsons.
Yeah, that's a different thing. And I love catfish, and I won't eat catfish locally. No. So you can't. No,
yeah, it's a little shady eating them locally because they're bottom feeder. They'll eat anything off the bottom. So it's.
Yeah. I've known a couple of people like that too.
And we pulled some monsters out of there though, like catfish out of the.
I can imagine a lot of food, a lot of nutrients for them down there. So that's great. That's funny.
That's always a good time. So I want to get back into that too, and I don't have much longer honestly because Mason's a junior this year, and so it'll be. almost done with high school and on to his next part of his life. And
he sprouted like in a year or two ago out of nowhere. He just like, I remember like seeing like all of a sudden in his hair, he started growing his hair out, and all of a sudden boom, I'm like, whoa. Yeah, like, he's like crazy. Over a few months he just sprouted.
Almost 2 or 3 inches taller than me now.
Holy shit. Neither you or your wife are that tall like that. Like not like that.
Like Suan's dad's like probably 5'10", 5'11", somewhere around there. Her brother's maybe 5'11". Her little brother, he's actually a pretty big kid. I say kid, he's in his 20s, but
right.
Yeah, so he's kind of tall too. Her grandpa was taller. Not huge or anything like that. Right. So maybe the size comes from over that side.
Yeah, must be.
Because my dad wasn't that tall. My biological dad wasn't. And so, and my mom's really not that tall. But she's got, I think, the people on her side of the family are relatively tall. I think her biological dad was, like tall and skinny. So yeah. I didn't even know him. I think he passed away before.
Had to be where he got it then. So, yeah, my family's all a bunch of pygmies. So all a bunch of little short people. So all of that, so you met dude during the pandemic, I remember. So I was pretty sure like you had already been kind of watching B&B before pandemic hit. I'm just trying to trace back, and then I don't know what it was, how it came about, but like we're all in furlough. You guys are working, but more from home. I wasn't doing shit but being drunk every fucking day. Like I was literally like, I tell everybody my bedtime was 4 a.m. to noon. And I was drinking Fireball. I went through a lot of Fireball. But then we were still kind of trying to stream in. We were still on Mixer. And then around that time in the middle of the pandemic, we had to move to Twitch. It was a whole thing with Mixer dropping and the Twitch thing happening. And we had to start over there too. A lot of stuff going on at that time, just in the world generally, clearly with the pandemic. But the first game I remember us all playing together was actually Predator. And I don't know if that's accurate or not. It was a drunken haze.
Yeah.
But I was pretty sure Predator was the game. Like, I know dudes say, hey, I'm picking up Predator. Let's pick up Predator. Yeah. And he's like, Trick from work is going to pick it up too. And that's when first time I remember playing an actual game with you. And there, I had just other random people I've known for life that were jumping in and playing with us as well too. But that, if I remember correctly, right, that was the first game.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm pretty sure that was probably one of the first ones. Because we were all about it, when that came out.
Yeah,
that was
we were like nonstop about it too.
That was a big deal there, and that kind of I hadn't played video games for a long time. Like I played here and there, but like I said, between work, having 2 kids, like I was hot and heavy when I was younger. I was really into like Halo and Madden, things like that. And then even like before that in high school, the GameCube was like a big thing for us because we'd sit down in the basement and probably do things that we weren't supposed to be doing, and time splitters.
Oh shit! You guys were a time splitter
crew? Dude, we love time. Cause that was before like the internet was real big. Anyway, you could run 4 people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I had a whole crew of people downstairs and
just playing against each other,
and just having fun. So
right on. Okay.
But like I said, then kind of met my wife, and obviously when you meet somebody, you're all into them, and so I didn't game as much at that point in time, and then, like I said, kids, life hit, and like I said, it was still here and there. But then when I met back up with you guys, then that was like my big comeback for gaming.
For gaming, because then the kids were the same age as well, or the right age to kind of play.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Because they've been in a lot of different games with us too, whether Mario Kart, maybe even some Predator. For all I remember as well too. And,
I'm sure I probably had Liam play for me in Predator at one point in time.
I would imagine too. And I know with you being busy these days, that's hard to be able to do some of that stuff. And honestly, we've been busier too, so we don't get the community nights as much as we like to. It'd be nice to be able to do that more often, but I feel like the last few community nights we've done or tried to play games, like nobody really like comes around for viewing or really has time to play. Right. And I get it, like a lot of things are different. Like I feel, again, it goes back to like during the closer you were to pandemic and people had either different jobs, different time in their life, like there was a lot more time back then in that period, and now it doesn't feel like there's any time as well too. So
I think what happens though too is like once you guys get into the summer months, it's hard because people are doing
Everybody's outside.
Everybody's doing summer things.
Yeah,
you
you're
know
right.
what I'm saying? So you get into that little lull. I think it'll probably start picking back up once people are comfortable at home.
Back
it's
at
cold
home.
and
Maybe,
you know,
hopefully.
So
maybe we can do some more gaming over the winter again as well too.
I think that'll probably be a big thing, you know, because we've been finding it easier too for like Liam, because Liam he's on we moved teams this year.
Yeah,
I will get into that in a minute. But so he's playing on 2 different teams. So they asked him to play on both squads at his age group. So he's doing that. So now he's got 2 teams, and then Mason going, you know, full time during the spring season here, or the fall season for high school. It's a lot of games. They play a lot of games during high school, more than they do in travel. Like travel, you usually play like 8 games, like maybe 8 to 9 games.
Yeah.
In high school, you're playing up to 20 games.
Jesus,
you know, and so it's all during the week, and then the weekends are for the travel.
It's literally 7 days a week.
So literally, literally 7 days a week.
You guys are traveling doing that shit.
And
Jesus
so
Christ.
and so it's tough. You know, it's hard to get into any type of rhythm.
Yeah.
Even like, because Wednesdays are a soccer day. You know, and so then I come home from soccer, and then I'm jumping right into
you usually hop into B&B.
Sometimes I'm jumping in late because we're not even home yet by the time it starts. You know, depending on where the game is at, and so like I said, trying to find a rhythm during the soccer season, it's so tough. Because then you also have the things that you need to do around the house. You know?
Like how do you keep up with that sort of shit?
It's tough, man. You
right.
know? So it's a hard thing to do. You know, you try to do things in between. You know, we were talking about the grass earlier. You know, like it's hard for me to get the lawn mowed. And people are like, "Well, have your kids do it." And I'm like, you know,
it's easier said than done too.
It's easier said than done because, you know, the way that I look at it too, like for me personally with my kids, like my kids don't owe me anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I brought the kids into the world. They didn't ask to be here. You know what I'm saying? They still do the things that they need to do around the house. You know, they're good kids.
Yeah, they're very good kids.
They're athletic. They're both very smart. Both, you know, pull really good grades. You know, so I don't make them do. I don't force them to do a lot of things. You know, I ask them for help.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm not like a super disciplinary type of person, but they know. You know, like,
there's a line.
Yeah, there's a line. You know, so but so I don't know. Like I said, trying to find time, and you know, they're both working so much. I don't. You know, I don't force him to like mow the lawn. Like Mason, like he's been getting hammered the last few days, you know, or last few games. The kids have been knocking him on his ass, and
so that's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of pressure.
Sore,
yeah,
you
right.
know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I can't force him to go mow the lawn, you know. And Liam, when he mows the lawn, the lines are like this.
Right.
Sometimes he misses a patch here and there, you know.
Push.
Push. Yeah, my rider is currently down. So.
Oh, that's awful. I'm sorry to hear that. All right,
my yard's not that big, so you know I can mow the back in like half hour, 45 minutes.
Not too bad.
You know, I can mow the front in like 20 minutes. So
right on.
You know, by pushing.
Still. It's pilgrim bullshit pushing more. I fucking can't even. So I do want to go back to some of the game nights. So something that I realized playing some of the game nights though is that, like, listen, I grew up around an ex-veteran, ex-Navyman, GM worker who had an amazing, colorful vocabulary, but you have a potty mouth on you, and it doesn't take much for that level to get cranked to an 11.
No.
Where the hell does that come from?
I coach a bunch of kids, so
that's what it is.
I have to keep that trapped in,
right?
You know, no, it's just the competitiveness, I guess. You know, it's just the fun, being free. You know, like I said, hanging around a bunch of guys that don't care that I'm, you know, MFing every other word. Right. You know, so you know, everybody seems to enjoy it. You know, so it's
that's funny. That's funny.
But no, it's been like that since. I probably started playing Halo, honestly. Once I started playing Halo online,
that changed all of us.
I was living with my buddy Tony.
Another Halo guy, the two?
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
No, he wasn't actually a real big video game guy. Like, I was the big gamer out of my friends or whatever.
Like
a lot of my friends weren't like big gamers. You know, they're mostly stoners and you know, like hockey players, and so you know, we when it was a different era back then too, because we didn't have a lot of internet stuff, you know.
That's true.
We actually went out and, you know, played hockey and, you know,
Grandpa.
I know, right? So But we did a lot of things like that, and we partied a lot. That was the big thing too. So, but I was the gamer. I always had the different systems. And yeah, so it was me and my buddy Tony. I'd be sitting in there. I actually, when the 360 came out, I went and bought it. Stood in line, wasn't an online or whatever.
Right. Yeah, to actually get it. Fight for it.
Yeah, I had to go fight for it, and I grabbed Halo, and so I was in there playing Halo, and I'd be motherfucker.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Jeez. Like
Oh yeah.
So I think that's where it kind of started, because he used to laugh at me. So I'd come out and I'd be like, all pissed off. I'd be in there for like 2 hours playing, and I'd walk out and be like, "You want to smoke?" He'd be like, "Yeah."
I need to chill out.
Yeah. So we'd go out in the garage, and then I would go back in my room and play for another 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? So he'd laugh at me all the time. It was pretty funny.
Playing Halo stoned. The most I remember being stoned playing a Halo title, because my Halo stretches back pretty far too. But Halo Reach, when 2010ish came out, I was lit a lot playing that game, and that is another level when you're also getting lit playing some Halo. But I do feel like Halo is kind of what ushered in the extra out of me as well too.
Yeah.
Like I'm playing Halo 2, of course, online when Xbox first went live was with Halo 2, and that was a whole other that does get you cranked real fast.
Yeah.
Get you cranked real fast. I just remember the first time it might have been Predator. I don't remember what it was. I just remember all of a sudden going, "Holy shit!" Like he sounds like me. I'm like, "Is that me or is that somebody else?" And it was you. And I'm like, "God damn!" So now it's kind of the biz that you get cranked.
Yeah, I get cranked.
Here you get going. Yep.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's a good time. So
yeah, it is. It is. So I know it's hard these days to play games late. It's probably, I'd imagine, as well. Trying to get sleep or balance sleep. You're talking about how you got to get up early as well too. Are you somebody that do you ever get deep sleep? Are you somebody who does a lot of dreaming or anything like that? Do you hit that kind of deep sleep?
I do. Yeah. So
yeah.
Every once in a while I'll have a night terror. So
yeah, it's funny you bring that up. Really funny that you bring it up. Now you guys might not be able to hear us very well through this, but I have one of these right here, and we'll let this play a little bit. It's a little hard to see. It's a little dark in there. I tried to brighten it a little bit. You know what I'm showing, right?
Yeah, I know.
You familiar with this one?
That's messed up.
Yeah.
Choke my wife apparently when I get home. Yeah, so
I think that's. We'll let it play a little bit again here, just to kind of so everybody can kind of absorb what's going on here. Can you hear that out there, Brett? Can you guys hear that? Okay, you probably can't hear me, but you can kind of.
Look at Brittany. She's out here laughing.
She's already laughing. Yeah,
that's messed up.
Yeah. Okay. So
you want me to go down the rabbit hole on this one?
Let's talk about that one because it sounds like you're Gulliver or something like that.
So that's not the first time that's happened. You ever had that out of body experience when you're sleeping?
Oh yeah.
So I've had it happen to me a few times to where how you see it in the movies, you feel like you're floating out of your body. The first time that ever happened to me, we were living in our old house, and was one of those things. I felt myself, I felt like I was fully awake.
Yeah.
I could see the room, black figure standing at the end of the bed.
Oh shit! Like one of those kind of things.
One of those type of things, right?
Fuck.
And so I'm just like, oh crap, So then I'm conscious enough in my dreams that I know that it's a dream, right? And so I try to wake myself up. And so how you can't yell when you're in your dreams,
Nothing,
right?
yeah.
So you can't get it out. So that's what you see there, in that situation. That was the same thing. So I believe in that dream, though, I was being chased by gnomes.
That's what she kind of said. She mentioned those little gnomes or something, which I got to tell you now, I have a rule about gnomes.
Right.
I don't fuck with gnomes. I don't want them around because everywhere you're sitting, they're looking at you.
Yeah.
So fuck that. I can understand.
Yeah. And so, but it was one of those things. I'm trying to wake myself up, because I'm I love the dream world, right? So I actually love falling asleep because I can get into that dream state. You could be whatever you want to be when you're dreaming.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, I dig my sleep, which I don't get a lot anymore, but, and yeah, that's one of those things. But and the funny thing is I can watch scary movies and do all, and that stuff doesn't affect me, but. It was something I was probably watching Goosebumps or something. You know what I'm saying? And like,
right.
the gnomes were attacking me, and I've had like it's same thing with like stuffed animals or something like that.
Gotta be careful. Five Nights at Freddy's, then. Shit.
So
Careful. Yeah. Britt said she took medication too much one time, and same thing. Gnomes were trying to take her down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So I've had a couple of those moments. I don't know what else you got out of my wife, but did she tell you about my cramp in my leg?
Maybe.
Oh my God.
What about the cramp in your leg?
Jesus. Oh man.
She may not have, but you brought it up.
Okay. So I just like,
you outed yourself.
Yeah, I outed myself on that one. So it's just old age.
Yeah.
Type of thing or whatever.
Oh yeah. Middle of the night.
I woke up in the middle of the night and my leg was cramping so hard that like I couldn't move. Like, so I was like in the same position. I was like squatted down, and like I apparently woke up the whole house because Mason ran upstairs because he thought I was dying, like type of thing. Like, Dad, are you okay? It's like 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that.
Holy shit!
Yeah. So
were you just yelling? Or were you awake?
I was awake. I was fully awake, but I was I couldn't move. Like I got up and I don't know if I was dehydrated or what was going on because I've never woken up from a cramp in my leg before.
God damn. Okay.
And I ain't been right since.
You haven't been right
I haven't
since?
been right. This was like maybe 2.5, 3 months ago.
oh, so that okay,
Yeah, so,
okay.
Like I said, I haven't been right since, and I feared like when I go to sleep now, that my leg's gonna cramp.
So that's probably the reason you might be struggling with your sleep.
So I think that's probably what it is.
Psychosomatic at this point as well too.
Yeah, 100%.
You get some bananas in. You get some potassium.
Pickles.
Pickles got good potassium.
Pickle juice actually relieves cramps.
Really?
Yeah,
that's the first time I've heard that. No shit.
Yep. Even for you ladies out there that are having menstrual cramps or whatever, it does the same thing.
Fucking doctor over here.
Right? So,
holy shit. The OBGYN's in the house. Look at this. Maybe I wonder if that's why. Is that why a lot of the ladies I know that are close to in my life go crazy for pickles?
Maybe.
Is that linked to that?
It could possibly be.
I wonder. Well, Britt's saying that's another reason to like them. So maybe now I feel like somewhere at the research that or somebody out there is going to tell us that we don't know what we're talking about.
No, that's actually one of the dads for Mason's team. He literally brings pickles in bags.
Oh shit!
Yeah, to the soccer games. So when the kids start cramping up or whatever, and like throw them a pickle, but it like for real, it like within seconds will release.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so I don't know what it is. I don't know. I think it has something to do with the salt because I think a lot of times when you get cramps, it's like has something to do with the salt maybe in your system.
You think they dehydrate you more though?
Well, you would think that, but the problem is when you're drinking regular water, it's not absorbing into your system properly or whatever because a lot of times it doesn't have any nutrients in it.
Sure.
And so I guess that's you get the salt and the other things that are in there or whatever. It helps absorb it into your system. So
what the fuck, Bill Nye? If you're out there listening, please, we want to know.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what the thing is.
That's something that we need to explore because I'm curious on that. So, so speaking of soccer, so that's another good spot of that as well too. So, I know you guys are busy with soccer. We joke about calling you soccer daddy and stuff like that. I mean, the last couple of years has been a blur. I know with the soccer and the boys doing that as well too. So, so you talked a little bit about what's going on with that. So. Liam's now on 2 teams.
He's on 2 teams. Yep.
Excuse me. So he's on 2 teams. That's crazy. So one of them is like a school or local.
No, it's the same team. So with Liam, like his journey's been a little bit different than what Mason's has been.
Is it from learning from Mason or what?
No,
it's just different.
It's actually Mason's kind of pissed at us because we didn't let Mason play soccer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Mason wanted to play when he was a lot younger. Oh, and we were never soccer people. You know what I'm saying? Like I played hockey. I played a little football. Baseball. Just on rec leagues. I was never like in high school baseball or anything like that. For me, it was hockey. All the time. And then Mason was playing basketball and baseball, and he was really good at it. Like those were 2
like
sports, that he really enjoyed, and so we were just kind of like he said he asked us to play soccer. I think his friend Rowan, his her name's Ashlyn, and I actually coached her once I started coaching. So, but he would go over to Rowan's house and they would play soccer. And Ashlyn was like, "You're really, this was when he was younger," and she was like, "You're pretty good at soccer. You should play soccer." And I think that's kind of when it clicked into his head that he wanted to start playing.
Right.
And then he asked us, and we were just like, no. But then Liam's t-ball coach called us up one day, was like, "Does Liam want to play soccer?" So Liam's like 6 or 7 at this point, and so Liam started playing when he was around like I said 6 or 7 years old. Mason didn't start playing until he was 12.
Oh shit!
You know what I'm saying? So realistically, Liam's been playing longer than what Mason has been, and so now that we've fallen in love with soccer, I feel terrible that
I weren't able to get him.
Yeah, because he's a good player. Mason's a really, really good player, but I feel like if I would have let him start when he wanted to start, he would have been,
because
that much better.
His height and shit.
So,
Damn. Okay.
And he's always had. Mason's always been in a weird spot in soccer too because of his birth date. So he's a November kid. And so soccer is really weird in how they do the ages. Yeah. So he's always in an older age group because of where his birthday falls. And so so it's harder for him. So he's always played at a higher level. So he's never ever played kids his own age, from the time that he started.
He's always been thrown into the Wolves basically.
Yep, pretty much. I think he played 1 year of like U14. I think maybe 1 year U14. Then he was up and playing high school. You know what I'm saying? So like he's never really had like an opportunity. I think he played, like I said, I'm pretty sure it was only 1 year of U14. And then it was right into high school for him, and all. So
can that be good or bad? I mean, I can see it being good and bad on both sense. Like he didn't get enough of the fundamental or time, or being thrown to the wolves can all of a sudden just like be a switch for people.
I think he was lucky because of the coaches that he had. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. One of the coaches that he had was Edgar, who is one of my friends over at FAU. And really, really good coach. So, but he was only with Edgar, I think, for a year, and then he went with Coach Eric, and Coach Eric's been awesome for him. You know what I'm saying? I think one of the things that Mason has is maybe a little bit of lack of confidence sometimes, and Coach Eric, I think, brought that out of him. So
do you think the lack of confidence comes from the fact that he didn't have as much time before?
I believe so. Because we see it. When I'm practicing out in the backyard, or him and Liam are just messing around, or we're up at the fields just messing around. Like, I think he has a lot more confidence when he's just having fun, and I think,
the pressure's not on him.
The pressure's not on there, and once he got into high school, like he didn't play hardly at all his freshman year. There were some days where he didn't touch the field. And I think that kind of maybe got to him a little bit, and we're just kind of like, well, he's not getting any time. But then he goes and plays travel, and he's playing a whole game. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then his sophomore year, he didn't start until one of the kids got injured. And so once that kid got injured, he had to kind of come up and step up, and he ended up actually like 3rd or 4th in points. His sophomore year, behind the 2 kids that were studs.
So what's up, coach? Now you see it,
So, well, that's and that's what you think. But I think like I said, the biggest thing is he feels like he can't make a mistake, on his high school team. I think he feels like if he makes one little mistake that he gets pulled off, and it's like one of those things where like all the kids are making mistakes, and so I think he feels some type of way about that. But Coach Eric has I don't think ever really made him feel that way. And so like, he plays a different game when he's playing travel, playing indoor and playing for Coach Eric. Yeah. And so, but that's okay too. There's actually nothing wrong with that. Different styles, every coach is different. Every coach has, their things that they want, and sometimes as a player, for him, he has to adapt to that too. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't even, blame his high school coach. It's like, your coach is telling you this is what he wants from you. If you're not providing that for him, then, you have to make up for that. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not one of these parents a lot of times that will just, oh, my kid's the greatest and this and that. Like, I have conversations with them, like, you know, you messed up today, bro. Like, you know, this isn't
cut it,
you know,
cut it dry and you know, as real as it needs to be.
Yep. You know, I do it with both of my kids just because, you know, I don't ever want them to feel like, you know, they're the, you know, greatest thing since sliced bread. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because then that creates a whole other issue.
It creates a whole nother issue. You know.
Excuse me while I'm dying over here. So that's a good point also as well too. So, you know, the way you're thinking, the way you're talking about that, because you've done some coaching with them as well too, because that sounded like some coach coming out of there as well too. Because I know now at this point you've seen enough with, you know, of course the boys playing, but like you got your time doing coaching. How long did you do that overall?
So I started coaching Liam. I think Liam had been playing for a couple years, so I think he started with, like I said, right around he was 6. So I think like 8 or 9. Was when I started coaching Liam, and then I just kind of got thrown into that.
That's how that worked?
Yeah, because I didn't know anything about soccer. You know, like my kid was just playing and he was having fun, and you know, we're cheering on, you know, like Liam, you know, like that type of thing. And my buddy Steve called me up one day, was like, hey, does Liam want to play travel soccer? And you know, I asked him, like, hey, you want to play soccer? And he's like, yeah, you know, like one of those type of things. And then he was like, you're gonna coach, and I'm like, dude, I don't know anything about soccer. Like,
I'm a spectator and a parent.
You know, and it was a totally different game too, because at that time Liam had been playing indoor. He hadn't even playing outside yet. You know, so like the indoor is totally different than, you know, what you get from the outdoor
the flooring
stuff.
alone, right?
The flooring, the field itself. Because it's flooring indoor, so it's turf.
Is it? That's what I was wondering. Like more like a turf than duh.
So it's turf indoor.
That's whole. I mean, your body works different on that shit too.
You know, and they're on a bigger field.
Yeah.
And I didn't even really know what the basics were, because like with indoor, the rules are a little bit different. They don't have any offside. You know, so then you got to figure out what offside is, and offside in soccer is different than what it is in hockey. You know what I'm saying? And at that point in time too, at a young age, they have what they call a build-out line. And so then you got to figure out, like, what the build-out line is and, like, where the kids can be. And so, you know, I had to study and, you know, like, try to figure out, like, what soccer was. And so
I didn't realize you had to start from, like,
so I started ground up. Yeah, I started from zero soccer knowledge. Like, I didn't know who Messi was. I didn't know who, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I didn't even know any of those, like, soccer wasn't my thing.
Alexi Lawless or whatever, was that guy's name? Or from the 90s, what was that?
Yeah.
Remember what I'm talking about? Alexi Lawless? I don't know. Was it Lawless? I don't know.
Yeah, so I had to start there, and it was YouTube videos. It was Facebook videos, whatever I could find. I went and downloaded books.
Damn, you went all in. I mean, I guess you're coaching. Yeah, you got to sometimes do that, right? Yeah.
And then I was lucky because Liam's T-ball coach helped me out. He was actually his soccer coach as well. And so he became my assistant coach and helped me out with that as well.
Cool.
And he's passed since. I wish he was still around.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he was a great coach. The kids loved him.
Yeah.
You know, and all. And so it was just, when he passed, it was kind of a big deal. And great coach. Rest in peace, Ty.
Yeah, R.I.P., sir.
But yeah, so I did that. Coached for like a season and a half. Then the pandemic hit.
Okay, so I don't remember. I didn't remember it was back then. So way back then you did the coaching.
Yeah.
Before the pandemic. Okay.
Yep.
My bad. I didn't know.
Pandemic hit. And then we sat out for a couple seasons. Neither one of the kids played for like 2 seasons, you know. So now they're, Mason had just started, a couple years after Liam had already been playing, played for a season, pandemic hits.
Oh, fuck. So then he had to lose time more.
So then we lost time, right? So they lost the whole season. And then when the second season started, they wanted all the kids to wear masks. And we were just like, it's not good for the kids to be out there running around in masks.
That's a lot.
So we
doing that kind of
exercise.
Yeah.
Right? So we were just like, we're not going to play.
Yeah.
So 2 seasons, that's a lot of time, especially for Mason to miss all that time as a older kid coming to play. Didn't get the fundamentals, didn't get, a lot of that stuff. And so we got past the pandemic. Went over to the club that Mason was actually at. So Liam, the club that I was coaching for was called Mesa. Mason was over at FAU, which was Flint Area United. And we ended up moving over to the Flint area United, and took Liam over that way, and then I started coaching Liam over there, and so we were over there for 3 years.
He'd been coaching that long?
Yeah.
So it must have just really ramped up in the last year.
Yes.
With the coaching. That's what it was. Was it because of the travel?
Because of the travel. So
okay.
I did that.
Because I feel like I don't remember that as hot and heavy back down with the coaching. Because last year particularly, I mean, we had a running joke about, just busy nonstop coaching.
Well, because it started once I was coaching Liam there. Got to know the owner really well and his family, and then he asked me if I wanted to help with the girls, because he actually got the position to go coach at the high school.
No, yeah, it's hard to say no to that.
Right, so that was 2 years ago, right? Yeah. And so I did that, coached with him for a couple seasons. Lots of drama. Not with him, just with the parents.
Always. They're the ones that's going to ruin it, right?
Yeah, so a lot of times it's hard, because it's, when you look at the differences between the high school boys and the high school girls, there's just a huge difference as far as like they're not as cliquey. Like the boys aren't as cliquey,
right?
They might not all hang out or whatever, but there's like a thing on the field that's like, okay, we're all a team. There's not a lot of bickering. Do they yell at each other? Yeah, it's a team.
Right.
But like on the girl side, it was worse. It was cliquey. The parents started getting involved. And you're just there as a coach trying to coach the kids and do what's best for them.
Yeah.
Right. Not everybody earns the playing time, or even if you think your kid deserves the playing time, the coach doesn't see it that way. You have to let them coach.
Yeah.
You have to let the team develop.
That's why you're the coach.
Right. Yeah. And so when you get into high school, there's 4 age groups. There's freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Right. Just because you were an A+ player on your travel team as a freshman doesn't mean that you're going to get all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just not how it works in high school. Like, and I think one of the big things with parents, especially when the kids are in like the youth sports, is they want all their kids to play all the time, right? And so then we get to the participation trophy type of thing where, and then the parents are constantly telling their kids that they're the best and they're the best and they're the best. So now that's ingrained into their heads that I'm the best. And then you start getting
the attitudes come out.
You start getting some attitudes like, I'm the best player on the team. How come I'm not starting? Yeah. I'm the best player on the team. How come I don't get all the playing time? Like, know, so that's the type of thing that we were seeing, and like that's when I ended up having to take a step back.
Yeah, because I remember up to that point when you decided to take a step back, like not only were you busy doing all that as well too, you were telling some horror stories and giving some indication of the stuff was going on.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like you said, shit, I seen it the one time at the field out here too. Just I don't know all the inner workings, but the coach was definitely yelling at a guy who was just like, I said, I'm just volunteering as a fucking ref. Like, right. And it was supposed to be, was it like a scrimmage or something?
It was just a scrimmage. That was just a scrimmage.
Yeah. And like, you're hearing and so when that thing happened, and by the way, what I got to witness was you end up reffing because this guy said, well, fuck it, I'm just doing this for the hell of it, and you're yelling at me, because soccer should have a few people on the field to ref. Like, one person reffing an entire field, scrimmage or not, is a lot to put on somebody. So they ended up, I knew as soon as you walk across the field, I'm like, this motherfucker's come over here to get you to do it. Sure as shit, so but then you could hear it was like a domino effect of bickering on the end from all the parents and like having commentary. It's like, motherfuckers, just you're part of the problem, right? You're the way your kids act the way they do,
and that's what happens up there too. And the worst part about that is like, as a coach, you understand like what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
You get it. You see it all.
That you're not getting the calls. Kids are starting to get injured. And when that starts happening, you get pissed because you're trying to protect your players. I've been there as a coach. Like, and for me, it's hard because as a new coach, I don't know what buttons I can push.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because of me, like, I just remember being coached. I could always hear my coach yelling.
Right.
Like, it didn't matter if I was playing football. It didn't matter if I was playing hockey. You know, the coach was constantly out there, like, you know, move, you know, like that type of thing. They don't do that. Like, some of the coaches in soccer don't do that.
Really?
Some of the coaches in soccer just sit there, and they're not like coaching. You know what I'm saying? They expect the kids that, you know, they already know what they're doing. You know,
So they coach themselves apparently.
Yeah, apparently they coach themselves. You know, and I look sometimes, and I'm just like, you know, they're still young. They still need guidance on the field. Yes, you want them to do the things that you're learning in practice, but sometimes you need to give them a kick in the butt and say, move forward, move forward. You know what I'm saying? So
that seems to me, again, the point of what a coach would be.
What a coach is, right? And so Liam's new coach is like that too. You know, he's pretty vocal, but he's kind of like me. I think he actually played soccer, you know, but he's a dad coaching. You know what I'm saying? And so,
which is another slippery slope probably in that as well too.
Yeah. So he's pretty good. Yeah. We haven't had any issues. Well, we've actually had one issue, but it wasn't his fault. It was a parent related thing. So
go figure.
But yeah, so he's been pretty good. That like incident that you saw or whatever was like not reflective at all of what he, you know.
That's what I was kind of wondering. I was going to have you kind of clear that up.
Yeah, because he was just mad because they were hurting our players.
Well, yeah, and I think
the referee wasn't blowing, and he was like, "I'm just a dad," blah blah blah. But still, at the same time, like, I mean, you saw kind of how I was doing the game, you know, after the fact, you know. So it was just like you can make calls on both sides.
Can't be rough,
right?
You can't be rough, yeah.
And I tried to be as even as I can too. You know, when it comes to those type of things, and we're scrimmaging, like, you know, like I'm pretty sure some of the kids were mad at me, like my own kids, you know, that I wasn't giving them certain calls. But it's just like, number one, you have to play advantage. Soccer's one of those things where, like, if I have the ball and you kick my legs out from under me, if my teammate has the ball and is advancing forward, it's technically not a foul. You know what I'm saying? They won't call it because you still have advantage on the ball to go down and maybe score.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Instead of blowing the whistle.
Sure.
And so a lot of times referees will wait. You know, then the parents are already in an uproar because their kid just got murdered on the field, even though they don't realize that their team still has the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's where you see the parents getting like crazy and, you know, things like that.
So they think their kid's great. They watch a lot of soccer, but they don't know a damn thing about it either.
They don't know a damn thing about it, you know. And so
sounds like America.
Yeah. And so and that's what happens. And and so that's kind of what was going on, you know, when we were up here doing it. But no, Liam's new coach has been great. So yeah,
he's been learning a lot, I'm sure too.
He's been learning a lot, yeah. But back to the coaching thing or whatever. So I told the FAU that I was going to be done coaching, and, you know, obviously they weren't really happy, you know, and they, you know,
were you honest with them? You were like,
yeah, you know, I just told them that, like, and the big thing was too is Mason only has a year left, right? This year and next year are his last 2 years. I spent so much time with Liam,
right,
that I was not with Mason a lot, you know, so I was missing some of Mason's things, and it was, you know, to take Liam to do his stuff, and it gets hard, you know what I'm saying, because then I feel like I'm leaving Mason out too, you know what I'm saying, so because everything that I was doing for Liam, and so that was a factor of me having to dial it back, you know, because I'm coaching all year round Liam's team, and then I'm also helping with the girls,
right,
you know, periodically through the year too, you know, their whole high school season, and then I'm going, you know, sometimes into the winter sessions, you know, and doing that stuff for them too, but I'm at that time missing my own kids' things, you know what I'm saying, and so I had to dial that back, and then I also gave this year Liam the decision to where he wanted to go play. He was losing some of his friends because they were playing high school this year, you know, right? So Liam's been playing up his whole life too, as well as Mason, but it was kind of a choice, you know, because his best friend is older. He's a 2010, Liam's a 2011, and so he's been playing with one of his best friends, Braylon, and he has to play up. Well, Braylon's kind of like Mason. He's in that trap thing, you know. So
with the age there.
Braylon didn't go into high school this year, but he's a 2010, you know, because he's got a late birthday, you know. And Mason's, like I said, he's got a November birthday. I think Braylon's is October. So, And so he's still in 8th grade, he's like, and most of the other kids that are 2010s are in 9th grade this year.
God, it's so weird how that works.
Yeah, right.
So weird. Yeah.
And so they call that like a trap year in soccer. They call it a trap year because a lot of kids go through it.
Yeah.
And so I gave Liam the option. I said, you can stay with FAU, play the older kids. I was like, I'm not going to be coaching, or you can go, try somewhere else, I'm like, that's on you. And so he decided that he wanted to go over to his new club, DCFC, in Detroit. It's a team based out of Detroit. So.
Yeah. Get some different experience too.
Different experience, different coaching, cool. Because he's basically had me the whole time coaching.
Yeah.
And he's going into high school next year, and so he's gonna have a different coach, and so he needs to, kind of learn what Mason learned.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Having, somebody else coach him.
Yeah.
And so he decided to go over there. I was super nervous for him. I didn't know what to expect. Obviously the owner of the other club at FAU, he was mad, because we were taking Liam somewhere else, and Liam's a really good player.
I kind of you can see like he's still at an age where he's still progressing and he's not done progressing.
So and so
you can tell
he's his soccer knowledge on the field is really, really good.
It's that young age.
His IQ, some of the things that he does, a lot of kids aren't doing at his age. It's just the way that he sees the field. He's small, and so I always told him, I'm like, you're gonna have to do things differently than what the other kids are doing.
He used that to his advantage, probably.
Yeah, and so his footwork is phenomenal. He's got a pretty decent shot, but like I said, he's small, and so he doesn't have a ton of power.
Right.
But he's so accurate.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing for him. And the quickness. A lot of times he can beat people off the break. They eventually catch him just because he's got short legs but he's fast. He's still got a lot of speed for being a little guy. And so like I said, I was nervous with him going to that new club. He the coach, he knew the one coach, his coach Josh, because he's played with Josh. Josh was actually helping Ty originally when Liam had played, and so Josh was like, heck yeah, Liam's coming over here, awesome,
cool,
super excited to have
ready
him,
for him.
Other coach didn't know anything about him, and so we weren't even really going to go over there at first, and then last minute we ended up going to the final tryout for him, and so he went over there, and they were like, yeah, he can play, and they still didn't really know too much about him. They told us originally that because they had two teams, they've got a gold team and a rouge team. The gold team is the like the B team, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of how they phrase it, I guess. They play in a different division. The rouge team plays in Premier. The gold team plays in the Missile. Which is kind of like the league that he was already in, playing at FAU. And he gets there. We have that scrimmage up in Saginaw, and coach is like, he's going to play full-time on both teams.
Oh, shit. Thanks, dude.
So, yeah.
That just add more to our plate. Cool.
Yeah, and so, which is a good thing, because I told him he was going to have to earn it. I was like, this isn't something that you're going to walk into and you're going to be the kid that everybody's looking to, because nobody's going to know who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're the new kid coming in, so you're going to have to work hard and, prove yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what type of player he is, but not everybody knows who you are. But he made his presence felt.
That's awesome.
Felt quickly, and he's acclimated very well.
Good.
The team has been awesome.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, they're having a lot of fun, and it's just been good. Like I said, I was really worried about him. I didn't know like if it was going to be real cliquey over there.
Yeah.
How that was going to work, but all the kids get along. They've accepted Liam just like he's been there the whole time. So it's been very, very cool.
Good experience there too.
So very, very good experience there.
Okay.
The families have been cool. So yeah, like I said, I'm happy that it worked out the way that it did.
Glad to hear that.
Because like I said, we were bummed that because we actually haven't fully left FAU because Mason's still playing there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because Mason has his group of friends that he's playing with, and so You know, but it's different, you know, because I'm not there on the field, you know, with the kids, and I miss it. You know what I'm saying? Like, as much of a headache as it was sometimes, like, just the feeling of, you know, helping the kids.
Yeah, that's got to be something that's tough to kind of sometimes just like let go or whatever.
It was, you know. Yeah. You know, there's been a couple kids on there that, you know, that I've coached that have had issues, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, family stuff, things like that, and like to be able to help them, you know, through that type of thing, and, you know, be a mentor to them, and, you know, like,
I definitely see that with you being important to you. I can, you can kind of tell. That's awesome.
And as you can see, I love my kids.
You
know what I'm saying? Like, I'm fully, you know, about my kids, and that's, you know, so, but it's nice to help other kids. You know
that's
so
that's
like,
it's always what is Wu-Tang's for the children.
Wu-Tang's for the children.
We know, so I mean, it's always about it's always got to be about the kids. That's important, and I like to hear that. And like I said, I can see that about you. I do want to ask though, briefly here, what is an accolade for each of the kids in the soccer space that you're really proud of? That was like a big moment for each of them. I mean, I'm sure there's many, but like, what maybe big one comes to mind?
I think we were at a tournament. This is for Mason. We were at a tournament. It was one of those things. I was coaching Liam, and they asked Mason to play, and not on Liam's team. This was the FAU team, and I can't remember which team it was. But anyway, so we have the game. Their game gets over before ours does, and Mason comes over there. He's like, "Dad, I scored 5 goals." You know, he was so excited that he had scored 5 goals, you know, and and so the parents were like, I guess the parents on the other team were complaining and stuff, and they're like, how old are you? And blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, and so, you know. But yeah, so that was like, I think that a big moment for Mason. And I think that's kind of where it really clicked for Mason too. You know, that was an exciting thing for him. Yeah. Actually, the other thing, I guess, for Mason, playing indoor, I think, because he played for FAU, they had a gray team and a red team, and so he played for both of those teams. One was a little bit younger, like freshmen and sophomores, and the other one was like an older team. So, but he was kind of in the middle, and so he played for both, and he scored some bangers, in there, and so that helped his confidence. You know, I don't think they really had any like huge accolades like that, but I think the 5 goals for him was
pretty huge.
It was a pretty big one.
That's pretty big. That's crazy.
I think Liam. Well, I guess accolade wise, they won the tournament that they had earlier this year.
Yeah, that's right.
The Powerade tournament. The high school boys ended up winning that. Like no subs on the team. Yeah. So it was like that was a big deal too.
Iron Man playing and shit.
They were missing players. That was actually a really big deal too. For Liam, he won his first tournament.
Awesome.
This year, like as long as he's been playing, like he's never won a tournament.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you know, and as good as the player as he's been, he got that this year for the first time.
That big W.
That's huge accolades for him, you know. So him getting his premier patch, I think, as well, because you know he didn't play premier when we were over at FAU. That was a big deal for him as well.
Okay.
And I think that's probably been
awesome.
His big thing, you know. And I know he misses playing over there. Liam scored a bunch of goals, you know, when he was over at FAU. You know, like I said, he was the kid. You know, the ball basically ran through him, and he scored a lot of goals, especially when his buddies went down. So he had 2 kids this last season. They both got hurt in the same tournament, like the early tournament that we had. And then they didn't.
I feel like I remember that as well too. Recalling some of that.
Yeah, they didn't play the rest of the year. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, you know, then the kids all looked at Liam like, you know, let's go. You know, you have to distribute the ball and do all that, because that's really what his specialty is. You know, he's like he'll score goals, but he likes the cool passes,
like the role playing there, kind of like being part of it.
So
yeah. That's
that's like, you know, we had like the one kid, like Braylon. I guess if you go into like the like an MMO world, he'd be like the tank.
Right, there you go.
So cool. Like Liam's more like the rogue.
He's the rogue. Yeah, that's why I was already thinking like turning my head like that too. He's gonna say rogue because I can already see that. That's funny. Well, I do want to ask you this one last thing really about soccer, just generally, and more of a generalization about soccer. As somebody who I grew up in a small town. We didn't have soccer around. Even I don't know if the towns around me out in the middle of a field even had soccer. That's always been something I've been more fascinated. Like, I always watched football, but like I found as I got older, especially actually in the 90s when it started breaking out a little bit more, like, man, soccer is really fun to watch. I know it's predominantly like a sport done outside the United States, but nowadays in the U.S., it seems like you see a ton of schools, especially in this area, a lot of soccer, kids starting it. So I say all that because it's great, and I really do love the sport. But what do you feel like is still a misconception that Americans have against soccer that they either don't understand or just something that doesn't get everybody selling? Because there's always people out there doing bits about soccer still.
Yeah, I just think it's because it's a European thing.
Yeah.
It's just probably just a bit on the Europeans.
Yeah, maybe.
So, and then we don't really have, like, we've got Pulisic. Like, he's the big name in soccer, from the United States. Or, he's actually over playing in the Premier League now, so he's playing overseas. He's not even playing here. And it's not like football where you have a Patrick Mahomes,
right?
Or basketball, LeBron James or Kobe, or what I'm saying. Like, we don't really have that. I don't, necessarily think in the United States all those players are overseas. Your Messis and
the highest it seems to get around here is like really the Olympics, and it's been honestly the ladies for the last decade or so. That's been like our
correct, and that's the thing is the women's. I believe the women's soccer is a little bit better. Product wise, obviously it sells more in the United States. Than the men's do.
They tried this year.
And the problem is that over in Europe and other countries, soccer is damn near free.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so almost like every town in over in Europe somewhere has their own soccer club.
Yeah, right.
So, and then the kids will basically pay, like, I think you pay maybe $100 a year or whatever, and then you're playing for your soccer club. As opposed to here where you're playing thousands and thousands of dollars to try to play on top level clubs.
Right.
It costs a ton of money. So there's different levels. You have like your rec programs where it's kids just running around. It's all chaotic. They just start moving up into the select division. It's better than like the AYSO or the rec programs. It's a little more structured. The kids start getting better, and then the kids start moving up from there. Whether you go into like there's different leagues all throughout. You have like the whistle, the missile, and then you get into like the premier clubs. And once you start hitting the premier, they have different levels within the premier. Kind of like over in Europe, they basically have a pyramid of what their league is like.
Makes sense.
Your Premier League's up top, and then there's a bunch of other leagues underneath of it, right? And so like every team in Europe is trying to get up into that top level. And it's kind of like that here.
And over there, it's football.
It's football. So there's a whole thing about that too. So
that's wild.
But yeah, and so I think over here,
like, we're getting there, right? I feel like Americans are finally starting to, like, there's more buy-in, right?
I think so, but the problem is, like I said, is the price.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, we got lucky this year, because over at FAU, you get basically the same type of training, a little bit different training than what you get at DCFC, right? And so the FAU is a smaller club. We don't have branches all over the place. Like DCFC is like down in Detroit,
right?
It's up in Saginaw, you know what I'm saying? So like, from Detroit all the way up to Saginaw, and in between, they've got little, parts of the club all over the place, right?
Little spots. Okay.
It's more expensive depending on who you go with, because they actually have
so it's all paywalled.
So they have professional coaches that get paid. Right, so like Liam's team, he's lucky this year because he was at the low end. He didn't have to, because his coach isn't getting paid. His coach chooses not to get paid because he says it's it's for the kids. Which his coach is really, really cool for that.
Yeah, that's big. That's big.
The younger kids that Liam knows, they paid
like $1,300 more than what we paid, because their coach is paid, right? And so
you're paying his salary too.
So you're paying his salary as well. And so, but each club offers different things. Some clubs have indoor facilities. Like FAU doesn't have an indoor facility, but they've got a nice outdoor complex. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends on where you go.
Gotcha.
Each club is a little bit different, but I think the problem is it's pay to play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the other problem is too, is like, your kid can not be very good and it's pay to play. You know what I'm saying? So like these kids that are in these top tier clubs that are paying a bunch of money really aren't that good. You know what I'm saying? And so, but it's just it's a name thing, it's in the United States, it's all about the brand, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it's not like that over there, So
yeah, it's really quite ingrained in their culture and accessible, it sounds like, as well,
correct.
too. And different. So no wonder now when you think about that, now when you said it like that, it makes sense in my head, and I'm thinking, well, no wonder their fans get fucking wild and they go to those stadiums and they'll be there for hours just having a blast, because it is literally so easy, so accessible.
Correct.
And everybody does it. That's crazy.
Like,
that's cool.
99% of their fans have played soccer.
So they have this different perspective.
So they've got a different perspective.
That's cool. So, yeah, okay.
And it's kind of more like, I guess it would be like football here, even though, a lot of our fans that, that are at the stadiums, the professional leagues, they haven't played football. Right. You know what I'm saying? But it's more of a same thing. It's more of the brand.
Yeah.
Right? You're being there because you might not even be a fan of football, but you're going to the stadium to have a good time and drink some beers and party with the people that you're.
Yeah.
So it's the experience. It's the tailgate. It's the what I'm saying? Like it's over there, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, that's a good way. That's a good way of looking at it. So it's like that's cool. Part of the culture.
So it's part of the culture. So that's the difference. And it's not even just Europe. It's Mexico. You know what I'm saying? It's the Latin nations.
I mean, South America is huge too. So Europe is so big as well.
Africa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, even a lot now in like the
So North America's the one that's behind, apparently.
Yeah, North America's behind. So like even the Arab, they have like an Arab league too.
Yeah,
and so,
I did know that.
League is real big, and they've got exceptional players over there. Yeah. So it's just like. It's just different here because we have so many different sports, and so now what you're starting to see overseas is the like basketball, baseball, you know what I'm saying, like the Americanized sports, which I guess probably 20 years
except for baseball, right? Baseball wasn't a Japanese originally?
It's Japanese,
or like
is really good.
Is that real? I feel like that was a misconception. I always thought that, and then I read it was not really that true.
No, they play
I know that. I know it's big over there, at least at the very least. But but
I mean, look at that, like Shohei Ohtani, what I'm saying? Like, he's the big Japanese player or whatever, and he's like the best player in the world, so it's like you starting to see these different things, like I said, with basketball and like I said, over the last
basketball
10
in
years,
Europe
is it's a big deal now,
massive now over there as well too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Where basketball used to be just an American thing, so we were always just that much better than everybody. And but see, the thing was with the Europeans with basketball, it started off more fundamental, so that's why their guys are all good shooters. Right. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to here where, you just have athletes, like their guys are focused on shooting the ball, like, making the passes and you know what I'm saying? So that's why you see the big 7-footers coming from Europe that can shoot 3 balls.
Which is not something you normally see over here when it comes to that. So awesome. Well, I appreciate that. Definitely a lot of that soccer talk. I feel like we could talk about that for a long time because there's a lot going on in there too. But, I know with that as well too, that you've integrated it in your family. I mean, you're such a great dad. The boys, are great, obviously, as well too. But trying to balance all of that, at least you're together, you're doing that stuff together, family time, and family time is so important because no matter if it's recreational, no matter if it's, serious stuff, they're doing that, you're all doing it together. It's integrated and things in that nature too. But, I do know sometimes now, when it comes to like doing the fun stuff as well too, whether it's going to things like Fletcher's Pond or whatever, fishing, that sometimes boat rides are fun too, right? Get on a boat. But the problem is about being a boat, and I've been to this experience as well too, is that the water can get real choppy, especially around here and in a state with a lot of water, right? And a lot of wind can pick up out of nowhere. You know where I'm going with this as well too. It was shared with me that there was an incident one time that the water got so crazy out while you're on a boat that you were so afraid that it was going to tip or sink or whatever it was that you managed to not only push through the rest of the people on the boat and the family members, but your pregnant wife as well too. You were so worried about falling into the water. So I guess I bring it up to say, do you have a water phobia, or what was going through the head at that point?
Survival mode, bro.
Survival mode that's all it was.
That's all it was at that point.
Yeah. Every call for himself.
Yeah. You know, so I hadn't honestly even been with Sue-Ann that long, and just thinking to myself, like, it's either them or me.
Yeah.
No, it was just instinct, I guess. You know, the we were okay. Pontoon. So have I ever sunk a pontoon?
They're not that hard to fall. I nearly have. It's scary as shit because if you distribute weight in a wrong way, like you're talking like whoop. I've seen some scary shit. Like right? So I understand a little bit of the mentality.
So now you've got a picture in your head, right? So we're on Black Lake.
Where's that at?
That's up in northern Michigan up there. Okay. So not too far from like Traverse or Mackinac.
Okay.
One of the bigger lakes up in there. It's actually a GM lake or whatever. That's where like all the GM people go. Like they got a big campground up there and everything. And
Sheboygan?
I think it's right around that. Yeah. It's up there somewhere. So and so we're on Black Lake doing some walleye fishing. I was up there and I had just met Sue-Ann's. This was the first time that I'm meeting Sue-Ann's dad too at this time, you know, so I hadn't even met him yet. Like,
she claims that she was pregnant at this time.
She was.
Oh shit! And you, we won't unpackage that today. So, go ahead and continue.
Yeah, like this was like because she wasn't talking to her dad.
Okay.
Like there was something going on between them or whatever, and she hadn't been talking to him for a while or something like that. And so like I had never even met him.
So it's like that even too. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, she calls daddy and you know I'm pregnant, blah blah blah, you know that type of thing. And so so I'm meeting him like. Right around like the first time that I at a campground, you know,
in northern Michigan.
Right. With this nice complexion, you know, so it's just kind of like I didn't know anything about these people, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I'm up there, and at this point in time, I'm like not even fishing. Like I didn't become a fisherman until I met Sue-Ann's family.
Oh, got you. Okay.
So they kind of got me hooked on that. And
look what you did there.
Yeah.
So, clever. See, these guys got layered jokes.
Yeah. You know, so that's the first time I had like ever caught a walleye. It was up there.
Great fishing.
Yeah. So great fishing up there, and then So anyway, I think we had already been up there for the day, or maybe 2 days or whatever, and we come back onto the lake. And it's choppy, and like not just choppy, but I mean it's in an inland lake. They were like 3-4 foot waves, you know, and all that. I mean, that's how like
the storm blew in. It was just the wind all of a sudden.
I think it was just the wind, like because it wasn't that choppy depending on where you were at in the lake.
Okay,
you know, and so
could have mattered, I guess, the depth or whatever.
Yeah, and so then we start going, and then we're doing one of these.
Oh shit! On a pontoon. Fuck.
And then what happened was like 2 waves came in like at a weird angle, like so the one popped us up, and then the other one as we're coming down was coming over.
Right.
So that's what sucked the boat down. And so I may have been in the front and was like the Heisman type thing.
Right.
Over Sue-Ann. So
that's funny. That's funny.
They were a little bit more than Whitecaps. It was. There were some waves up there. Like I said, that was like the first time I had seen waves like in an inland lake like that. You know, not being on like Lake Michigan or you know something to that nature. Like I say, it was pretty wild.
Yeah, I've been on a tri-hull boat, which if you know anything about tri-hulls on choppy water is a lot like a pontoon. On the Saginaw Bay when a storm rolled in, and I want to tell you that's the most scariest I'd ever been. Like we were out fishing. That was the scariest boat ride I've ever been in, trying to putt into port. Nah, not a good time. Right. So, but
you got me over sweating.
I know, right? No pregnant women on that boat.
Right.
She keep you on your toes though. Does she like control you? I feel like she's got a pretty good.
Yeah, she runs the house pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, she's a beautiful person. You know. So it's.
Yeah.
She does a lot. You know, that's the whole thing too. You know, I'm gone a lot. you know, so she's got to basically run the household while I'm, you know, she has to do everything for the kids and make sure the kids are getting everything that they need. And, you know, the kids call her like during school, like, Mom, I need this, Mom, I need that, you know, that type of thing.
And them at the 911, I'm sure.
Yep. You know, she's the, you know, takes them to the appointments. She does the shopping. She does the cooking. She does, you know what I'm saying? So like, busy then. Runs the dog to the vet, you know, so like I said, she literally holds the household together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
right on.
It's,
but she keeps your ass on your toes, though.
She does, you know.
She'll troll you if needs be.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I can kind of tell.
Yeah, so
I feel like, I mean, not that I'm saying I've had conversations with her recently, but I can tell that she likes to give you some shit. Let me ask you this though. So, as a dad and everything like that, I mean, clearly, like, there's probably a lot of stressful things I feel like, but what's more stressful, like, when if like say the kid gets hurt out on the soccer field, which I know has happened, or like when she was like giving labor, is there really any
so
I mean, is there stressful one more than the other on that?
I don't know. I felt like I did good during her labor.
Really? Because it's funny you say that. You know exactly what's happening here. Because I feel like there may have been a distraction one of the times she was in labor with maybe Liam, maybe was it? Something about an elevator.
That was Mason.
Yeah, let's hear about that. I'm really curious to hear from you.
God, that probably was the most stressful thing in my life.
But that might have been so that would be the most. So her being in labor ended up being cause of this stressful.
So it was after the labor. We were getting ready to leave.
Right.
And we're at the hospital. I got my hands full. I tell Mason to go hit the elevator button. Well, he hits the elevator button, then he gets in the elevator. And I'm not there yet. And the elevator closes. And so, mind you that this is a hospital, and there's like 10 elevators.
Right.
And so, you're not getting the elevator to come back up, right? You know, the one that he's in.
Right.
And so, I'm in a full panic mode. I don't know what the hell's going on. So, I go downstairs, and I yelled at him. I'm like, stay in the fucking elevator. Right. And so, he listened. He wasn't trying to get out of the elevator.
Oh shit!
So
he stayed in the elevator.
So he stayed in the elevator, and so he's crying and shit, you know. Yeah. And he gets the elevator goes all the way down. And so I get in the elevator, it goes down. You know, the next elevator I catch, you know, I'm trying to go down. I'm like, has anybody seen a kid? You know, he's this big. You know, they're like, yeah, check the fucking kid ward up there where the babies are. That's what they said. She said one of the nurses took him up to the 4th floor or something like, or whatever floor it was, and. So I'm in the elevator, and I go to that floor, and I come around the corner after I get out of, and he's like fighting with the nurses and shit.
He's fighting. He's that feisty at that point.
Yeah, you know. So he's like, he's like 3.5 at that point in time, and he's yelling and. My dad said stay in the elevator. You know, like one of those type of things. So, yeah. Yeah, so he's like trying to fight him. So then I go over there, and they won't let me take him. They're like, well, who are you? And he's like clearly like, Dad, you know, like one of these type of things. And so, yeah, then they had to find Suan. They wouldn't give him to me, you know. So yeah, it was a hot mess.
He's yelling probably because he's all messed up and out of shape, or they've been out of shape. So
yeah,
they wouldn't hand him over to you because they didn't know what the fuck's going on. Yeah. They had to take her to your now just
yeah. That was dude. That was like I was like panic mode because I'm a new dad at that time too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I had never experienced anything like that.
He's like a few years old, right?
Probably. Yeah. So he's only, like I said, he's like maybe 3.5, like 3 years old, somewhere around there.
Damn.
And so, yeah, that was wild. That was really, really stressful. So I've had actually only really a couple stressful things with Mason. He was sick too when he was younger. So we had a whole battle with like a sickness where we was in the hospital for like 3 weeks with him.
Jesus.
He ended up getting pertussis. When he was young. It's like whooping cough. You ever heard of whooping cough?
Yeah,
it's like
whooping cough.
Yeah, something like that. And really, really not good for kids when they're little like that. Yeah. And so we ended up that was a whole nother thing too. So Suan, he had a cold. Like we thought we just had a cold, and so we ended up taking him to the clinic, and they tried to give him a cough suppressant, and Suan just like motherly instinct kicked in and just was like, I'm not gonna give this to him, you know.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
And it didn't get any better. Like, you know, nothing was like changing with him. He was having like a hard time breathing, and so then we ended up taking him to the hospital, and they're like, "Oh, well, thank God you didn't give him this, like this wouldn't have been good for it," because he ended up in the hospital for 3 weeks, and also
Holy fuck.
Yeah, it was brutal. So it was scary. Like, didn't know if he was gonna make it. Like, he has constantly on oxygen because he didn't have enough oxygen, and
God damn,
so
no shit.
That was a rough time, honestly. Like, that, I think, like, probably what gave Sue-Ann all the stress that she's got now. So
right. Yeah,
like,
between you and the kids, Jesus Christ, she got to fend for herself. You guys.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but now we all just run shit and what we think we do. But
yeah, right. Yeah. She really pulling the strings. We all know. Yeah.
But I think it's hard for her too because Mason's a teenage boy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they both are now. Liam's a teenager too. So. They both have that teenage mind, they don't want to listen to mom, so it's just kind of like
everybody's full of shit.
Yeah.
I get it.
They're pretty good kids though, for the most part.
They're great. They really are great kids.
Yeah, they give her shit a lot, she's mom, you know what I'm saying? So I think as they get older, the bond is a little bit different because I am the soccer dad.
Yeah.
I played the sports. I play video games with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they like the same things that we like.
Yeah.
Games and movies, and which is attributed to you guys as well.
Yeah.
So between you and Tone, or between you and Dude, they have learned how to watch movies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Different perspective.
And so now, like, when we watch a movie, we talk about it.
Yeah. It's more fun there out there now.
It is, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, I never did that before. And so, same for me. You guys gave me a new perspective on how to look at things, and, movie-wise and TV shows. And
that's great because we don't know what the fuck we're doing half the time, right? But I say that, but it's just about just having a dialogue where you don't normally have that dialogue. Because I feel like growing up, like, I would watch movies and be like, yeah, I did or didn't like it, and maybe say a couple things, and that was it. Well, now, like, when I'm watching stuff or intaking stuff, like you're explaining, that's now my mentality as well, too, which added a new layer to things in conversation.
It does,
so.
And when you start looking at, like, because I never even really noticed it before, like, production and cinematography and, you know what I'm saying? Like, those type of things, and, now you when I'm watching a movie, I'm constantly looking at that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To see
all the layers,
to see how it flows. You know what I'm saying? To see where the backdrop is. You know what I'm saying? Like, to your point, to see the different layers and how the movies are shot. Does it look cheesy? What's the CGI look like?
Yeah. So always scrutinizing. Just be careful of the rabbit hole of that, because like this is the one thing I feel like on that too, that I keep myself very self-aware about. Like, don't lose sight of it's supposed to be entertainment and enjoyable as well too, because you got to be careful, because especially with our community, who's always got full of opinions, and we all got full of shit, right? So even me, like, I always say, and I'm very big on it, I will say it time and time again, you probably hear it every episode of Let's Set the Tone, but like, you have to be able to criticize and critique the things you do and like and enjoy.
Correct.
Doesn't mean you dislike them or enjoy them any less. Nothing is ever perfect, and things can only get better if you point those sort of things out.
Right.
That's an important piece of it. Complacency breeds mediocrity, and you got to be careful with that. And we see that a lot with a lot of like Disney shit these days, and a lot of Hollywood mediums that are just doing the same IP rehashes again and again because they're afraid to take chances.
Right.
So it's cool to hear that. I appreciate that as well too, because and honestly, like the boys to us are kind of part of the community. Like, you guys have been to movie nights, played games with us. Like, if I've got a free chance and you're like, hey, we're gonna be in Saginaw playing soccer, like, fuck, I'll try and make it as well too. Like, I want to be involved for that shit.
It's that family feel.
It is.
So it's just
it is. It's an extension.
And like I said, it's huge for them, because they like, for real, like, look up to you guys when
I appreciate that.
we watch, obviously, religiously, so
right.
Like,
and that's the least that I can do too, is like watch these guys do their thing.
And they feel welcomed too. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's a big thing as well, is they feel welcomed. They can play the games, and have fun with that
for the children.
And then they always are like, right. And then I think half the time, like, the guys would rather play with Liam anyway, especially when they're doing like Fortnite and shit,
Yeah, absolutely. Much rather play with
much rather play with Liam.
Yeah, whipping everybody's ass. That makes a lot of sense. So
but yeah, it's been awesome. Like I said, that's been a fun thing for us.
Yeah.
Even as a family, because even when when you guys do do community night and we have the time and we're doing like the Mario Kart and stuff, Joanne jumps in on that too.
Yeah,
you know what
that's
I'm saying.
Great.
So yeah, you know, so that's the fun that we've had with the community and being part of that. So it's been awesome.
We appreciate that. I mean, like I said, you've always been one of the mainstays for years now at this point, and the family, honestly. And like, while we're definitely, we always joke, like, especially with the Discord, like, it's 35 plus content as far as age group gate, you know, like, we're out of control for sure. But like, at the end of the day, like, we want everybody to be involved. Dude's got kids. Right. I don't have kids directly, but you know, except for my stepkid as well too, who I sometimes try to get in there to play some Mario Kart as well. But you know, you guys got the kids and stuff like that. Like, it's always fun to have that, like, to have everybody get involved too, especially the kids as well. So
it's funny that, you know, the age appropriate thing too is, you know, I think people probably look at me like I'm crazy sometimes, but I've never been the type to stop my kids from watching certain things, you know, other than, like, you know, I don't, obviously, you know, it's like, you know, no pornography or, you know,
well, clearly, yeah,
things like
within
that,
reason,
within reason, right? And so, horror movies, you know, Liam loves horror. He has since he's been 6 years old.
That's fucking crazy.
You know
That's
what
cool
I'm saying?
though.
Yeah, you know, but I think for him, excuse me, he knows Jason and Freddy from Mortal Kombat.
That's fucking awesome.
You know what I'm saying?
That's cool.
And so he's never like had. I don't think he's never had that thing that we had, you know, when we first watched, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street or, you know, Friday the 13th, you know, like, I don't think that's been his thing, you know. He's never been, he's like, oh, this is awesome, you know, like, these guys are characters on a video game, you know, that type of thing. And so once I realized that mentality with him, I actually could explain things to him a little bit, you know, as far as like how the horror stuff works. You know, it's not real. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so then we gradually would start watching other things, you know, like I let him watch the Friday the 13th and the, you know, the Nightmare on Elm Street.
I was watching, so, like, I mean, that came out in the early 80s, a lot of that shit. Right. And I was like 9 years old when I first fucking watched Friday the 13th, you know, back then too. So,
and so then it steadily progressed, you know, we went into like the Hellraisers and we went into
Hellraisers.
You know,
that'll fuck anybody up at a young age.
It's his favorite.
Is it?
Oh, it's like his favorite, you know, horror series is it. We must have watched it a million times.
So
one and two, you know. So
the newer ones,
the new ones.
I'm assuming, newer ones have definitely stand a little bit higher than. I mean, I grew up the other ones, so I still love and appreciate them, and we'll still watch them. But I'm a huge fan of the new ones as well too. Like, they're just done. Yeah. They're done really, really well. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
And so we get into that, and so now we're in this like the whole horror genre, so we watch everything, you know, so from the paranormal to the religious to the, you know what I'm saying, like we do it all.
Awesome.
It's the slashers, like I said, the big thing, you know, we obviously Scream, we watched the whole series. He really loves Fear Street. Have you watched Fear Street?
It's fucking awesome, dude. That's the Netflix one.
The Netflix one,
with like the three different periods. I loved that series. Yeah, right? Huge fan.
Yeah,
huge fan.
So, and that's how he is too. He's a huge fan of that.
So good. Is he like Stranger Things as well too? Which is a mix of all that shit. I think it's hard to find somebody that doesn't like Stranger Things at this point too, because it's got horror elements. Yeah. Deep rooted into nerdism, or, you know, fandoms and nerdom, but as well too. But great horror as well too.
So he loves that. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
He's big into movies. So like. And when we do movies too, it's always, if it's like a series, then we literally watch the whole series.
Yeah, you can.
You know, and also we start from, you know, one all the way through, you know, and that's how we do things. And
does he like Alien? You guys go through Alien at all?
Loves Alien.
Yeah.
They not super huge, which is really weird because I'm the opposite. I love Predator. Right. You know, I like Alien, but I'm a Predator fan.
See, I'm the opposite. I like Predator a lot, but I'm an Alien.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and so we love Predator. We loved Prey.
Oh,
Prey was awesome.
Yeah, that's might be my favorite Predator version, honestly. Yeah. Like, because as much as I love the first, especially, and I actually do love the second. Like, it's campy as fuck. I still love
huge.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
Gotta love the glove, but that Prey was another level of.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
like, the cinematography and that was just, you know, the tension, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was really, really good.
Can't wait for the second one that's coming or whatever. Sounds like the period's jumping a little bit too,
which is cool. Years. I dig that. I dig that whole thing as long as it like maintains the.
I wanted Feudal Japan so bad though.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Could you imagine like feudal Japan, predator trying to fight a ninja or a samurai. Fucking A. See, that's what I want. Trachtenberg, listen to me. That's what I want.
Yeah,
that's what I want. But you know that's a that's some of the big nerd. I was actually going to kind of ask some of the nerdoms that you guys get into, and that's definitely some of the stuff that it would be huge. And now I know why. I think you definitely got a kick out of playing that Predator when we was playing that as well too. Now, were you nerdy like that as a kid too? I mean, I know you said you were one of the gamers of your friends, really, but like, did you have like those sort of things like that? You were like, you know, well, Carl over here's the fucking comic book nerd or whatever it was.
I was actually a little bit afraid to get into that.
Yeah. What year did you graduate?
So 99.
Okay, so you're only a year younger than I am. So yeah, you're okay. You feel it.
You know, I think like in that period, I feel like there was still that. You know, because like I said, the internet wasn't as big as it was.
Yeah,
there was still that stigma. Right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, but I loved horror movies.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, and I loved theater. That's the other thing that you probably don't know.
That's a great thing. So okay, explain that. Like, what do you mean by theater?
So I like Les Miserables.
Really?
Love it.
I'm a big fan of the Apple guy. Oh, really?
Yeah. And then Liam was real big into that too. So because Liam's done theater now for the last couple of years, and so you know he's seen things like I like. Just random things like that. I don't know. It's just really like my taste, I guess, is a little bit different. And it's always been like that.
Yeah.
You know, I've always been a little bit different than even my friend group. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always felt like I was like the black sheep.
Yeah.
You know, because I liked comic books.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Like,
I get it.
I liked video games, you know, but I also loved sports. You know what I'm saying? So, I was always the one to fit in with any group.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
You were another one of those too, huh?
Yeah, like it didn't matter to me. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
Like, loved music.
What's your birthday?
May, Taurus.
So if you've been seeing this on here, I keep talking about this because as a Sagittarius, Aries is one of our most compatible. But I keep telling everybody because Taurus is next to Aries, I find that there's a lot of Tauruses that I know in life that I just get along with so well. That's why I asked it. I'm like, I'm wondering if you're either Aries or a Taurus. Yep. Fucking A. Yeah. Or even sometimes Capricorns, I feel like. But that's pretty amazing to hear that. So that also explains your fucking explosive rage too.
Exactly. You know, that's where the
China shop
comes from. So
right. That's hilarious. This fucking goddamn shit.
But I can actually honestly say that my biggest influence was my uncle.
Yeah.
So my uncle was into all the nerdy shit. You know, he was a computer guy before computer guys. You know
no shit, that too.
He was that guy. He was the guy building computers and shit.
Right on.
You know, he had the flight simulators and all that shit. You know, he collected swords.
Fuck yeah.
He taught me how to jump movies at the movie theater. So we'd go pay for one movie and we would just stay in the movie theater all day. You know what I'm saying? He got me into
a life skill,
right? You know, and so huge Star Wars fan. He was. That's why I like Star Wars. My grandma was actually a Star Trek fan. I love Star Trek.
I love same. I love it all.
You know, and I think that's probably what got me into my sci-fi thing because I'm just really into sci-fi.
Yeah.
And so, but I give that to my uncle and honestly my grandma too, because like I said, the Star Trek was constantly on. So my uncle took me to all the movies. God, you ever seen the movie Screamers?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was like we saw Screamers and
I haven't thought about that in a long time.
God, what was out at the time? What was the other one?
Is that Michael J. Fox in that? No, what am I thinking of? I'm thinking of something different.
I'm thinking of Screamers or Scanners. I can't remember which one. But it was one of the one where the guys like they had some type of they could basically scream or whatever, and it would like affect everybody.
Yeah.
No,
I'm trying to remember.
What the hell was the name of that movie?
Yeah,
I want to say it was Screamers. Maybe it was Scanners. I can't. Either way, that was out, and then I think like Robot Wars or what was the big robot one back? They were in like the big, like almost Titanfall style.
Jock Jam? No, what was that? Are you talking about a live? Are you talking about? You're not talking about like the?
Yeah, it was the live action one. What the hell was the name of that? God, now I gotta look it up.
Yeah, look that up because I'm looking up Screamers right now. Is this it? Is this the Screamers I'm thinking of here? Is that Peter Weller?
Yes. Yep.
Holy shit, that is Peter Weller. Maybe I haven't seen that. Oh, that's fucking sweet. Okay. So Screamers.
Yeah, so you have to watch that. It's pretty wild. It's a big, it's a sci-fi one or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
But that was out. Like I said, that was 95. It was Robot.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what you're talking about as well too. Like, it's not Chappie.
No. This was, like I said, it was almost like a.
It was live action though.
It was live action, but it reminded me of
like Robotech or some shit, or like Titanfall.
Yeah, like Titanfall or whatever.
Man, I feel like I know what you're talking about too.
But they were in the robot, but they were fighting, like it was like a one-on-one battle with each other or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So what the hell was the name of that?
God damn it, because wasn't it was something. I thought Jock is the name.
It might have been something.
Or their Space Jock or whatever that was called. Like, what is that fucking called? It's gonna drive me nuts.
I know. Now I gotta
keep looking at it up because I'm curious about that as well too.
Yeah.
And while you're looking that up, I'm gonna throw in a question. So you get ready. I'm gonna cue something else up for you too, because I don't know for sure. I got kind of an idea what maybe your favorite music genre is, but I am definitely curious on what your favorite genre is.
Definitely hip hop.
Definitely, okay. That's why I kind of figured hip hop. But now that I'm learning, now that you're into theater stuff, that you probably got a diverse taste in music, maybe as well. I
do, and so growing up in the 90s,
the greatest decade of music because of the variety.
Because of the variety. So I was a big Pearl Jam fan. I was.
Oh shit! You're a PJ fan.
Yeah. Korn.
Yeah.
I've seen Korn multiple times. In concert. Yeah. So and I think Korn was a little bit different too. That the style was different, but it still had like hip hop elements.
Korn,
right? Yeah. And so
Korn was one of those early, like I don't know if they're considered new metal. I guess I think they are, but yeah, they were one of those early bands that kind of took, because you pretty much grunge was butted right up next to like when hip hop blew up and rap, right. And then when the new metal and stuff started to take off as well too. Korn was like one of those early adapters that was just like, it wasn't anything else, like because back then, like you're talking Pearl Jam, you had Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains. One of my favorites of all time, Smashing Pumpkins, and that a lot of Nirvana and things like that nature as well too. And then Korn comes out, and Korn is like this, like just unlike anything you ever heard of. Not only was it a little bit harder, but like then you had like fucking bagpipes out of nowhere. Yeah. Blind is still my favorite fucking Korn song,
bro.
And that's always, because I've seen him 3 or 4 times, and that's always the encore is Blind, because it's a couple of his old songs, because some of us have been around for a long time. That's what we're there to see. I want to hear the bagpipes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's Blind. Yep.
Yeah. So
that's what's up. So yeah. So okay, I kind of had a figure. What is so Pearl Jam is one of your favorite bands. Any other like artists or like groups that kind of stand out as some of your like favorite, or is Pearl Jam a favorite, you feel like?
I think Pearl Jam was more of a favorite just because a lot of my friends were really into Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
I liked them as a group. Actually, there was a concert, and it was Pearl Jam and Beastie Boys.
Oh my God.
That wasn't there was Pearl Jam was having a concert and Beastie Boys were having a concert. So the Beastie Boys, I believe, we were at the Palace. So like half of my friends went to Pearl Jam that night and half of us went to the Beastie Boys.
No shit.
Yeah. So it was real cool. So like, but no, more or less for me, it was more hip hop.
More hip hop.
Okay. Like maybe some R&B in there. My sister kind of actually got me into that because when we were younger, we were living down by Detroit, and Salt and Pepper was like real big, when we were down there. So she listened to that a lot, and so I think one of my first tapes. This was Mel, yeah. So one of my first tapes I think I actually had was like Vanilla Ice. To be honest with you,
we all had a Vanilla Ice cassette, bro. It's all good. Something, yeah.
Honestly, I think that was like maybe my first one. And I know a lot of people bag on him and shit like that, but I mean, it was a jam. I mean, you're gonna tell me that Ice Ice Baby wasn't a jam? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was on the radios nonstop, and we were all obsessed. Right. It's perfectly fine. You just had to be there. Right. But it was also sampled from one of the greatest of all time.
It was, yeah.
So
Queen.
Yeah.
So that was really good. My mom actually got me into a lot of different, because she listened to a lot of different genres. She was into classic rock, R&B. She actually knew Kenny, Babyface Edmonds.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I guess
Babyface, huh?
Yeah.
There you go.
And,
It's a name drop.
Name drop, right? And so
Robot Jocks.
Robot Jocks. Yeah, there you
I
go.
could, and that's what it was. I could see it in my head too. Robot Jocks was the movie you're talking about.
Yep.
I could see it. I could see
That's
it.
what it was. Yeah, and it was Robot something. So
Yeah,
it was,
yeah, that's me
but
too.
That's
it. Okay.
that was the movie. But yeah, no. So, but yeah, she listened to different things, like a lot of R&B, like Aretha and that old soulful R&B.
Yeah, that's R&B, R.I.P. R&B.
Right.
It just does not exist anymore, and hip hop's not like it used to be. There's really, I mean, I keep telling everybody, if you haven't listened to Coast Contra, Coast Contra,
they're amazing.
It's that old school hip hop, and they're continuing to roll and continue to get a name out there for themselves. That's my.
They remind me of like Onyx, like with their energy.
Just absolutely. It all feels like some '90s amalgamate, like just a combining of all these different great artists from that era as well too.
And so actually, like, so during the pandemic, like I was trying to find different avenues. Like once I started getting into like the streaming with you guys, like figuring out, like I didn't realize that there was that type of platform.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like all these people are doing different things. And so I actually came across Harry Mack. And so I was down the Harry Mack rabbit hole for a long. Do you know who Harry Mack is? So Harry Mack is a freestyle rapper, right?
Yeah.
Like not just like written freestyles. I'm talking about off the top.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. So he goes around, like his one thing was it was on the beach. So he was walking around the beach in California and was just stopping people and like doing freestyles for him. Well, the thing is like he would have them give him 3 words or give him like words or topics or whatever.
Yeah.
And so then he would rap about those words. But he's not just rapping about those words, like, ramming beer with mirror or, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't doing that. He would literally take like Dr. Pepper and give you a commercial about Dr. Pepper. Like whatever word that you gave him. And like he's like really, really smart. So it's not even just like simple things like cat, bat, hat. It's like complex things like astrology and I don't know, like your favorite rapper's rapper, or you know what I'm saying? So he's like going on and on, like, and he's giving you like bars, like with double entendres and shit like that off the top.
God, I'm going to fucking check this out.
White guy.
Yeah.
So he's amazing, dude. And so like I followed his whole thing. So do you know what Omegle is? Or Megal? Omegle. So it's a streaming platform.
Oh yes, I do. Yeah, it used to be the it was like one of those things during the pandemic that got popular because we all had nothing else to do, and that's the one I watched a lot of Kermit videos on there because he always pulls up the cucumber. He's like, "How you doing?" And he got the wiener. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So, anyways, that's how I know Omegle. But
So he was on Omegle, and so basically, and he was doing the same thing. So he would stop people, or people would hop into whatever he had, because I guess you had like maybe art, and you had to pick a topic or something like that, from the Omegle or whatever. And so he would have different topics, and so people would jump on and like they wouldn't know who he was, and then like people that don't even like hip hop, and then he starts like, give me 3 words, and people would just be like, sometimes just be dicks and just give him stupid words, and then he would rap those words, and the people would just be like blown away. And
Right.
Like, holy shit, dude! Like,
throw back at him.
You just, how did you do that? Or like, so he would have a conversation like when he gets on, like you and I are having, right?
Yeah.
So he would just talk to people for like 5 or 10 minutes, right? Okay, give me 3 words. So they give him his words, and then he would like bring back shit that they were talking about like before he got the 3 words from him.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, it's like he's just storing stuff in his head.
It's crazy. So I got real big into that, and like actually YouTube and shit like that. So I do like a lot of the reaction videos. Like I like watching the hip hop reaction videos, and
those are fun.
And so I do a lot of that.
I've watched a few actually on people watching Coast Contra, kind of come back into that when they watch Coast Contra, they're like, I remember the one guy stopping, he's like, he's doing a bar, because there's one in one of them, they're doing the freestyle or whatever, and he's talking about like the tree and the seed and all this stuff. He's like, how in the fuck? I'm like, how in the fuck is he doing that? He's like, you guys don't understand. Like, that sounds simple when you're hearing it, but when you break that down, it's actually complex as fuck.
Super complex.
Yeah.
When you said Coast Contra, that actually brought Harry Mack, because Harry Mack actually interviewed them and they did a freestyle together.
Oh, fucking A, really?
Yeah,
no
yeah,
shit.
yeah. So,
well, now I definitely have to check
so
that
you have
out.
to look that up.
Yeah,
look it up. So just look up Coast Contra and Harry Mack.
Yeah, when I came across Coast Contra, I was like, what in the fuck is this?
Just the energy and, you know.
Dude,
like
it's just
the rhyming patterns, you know what I'm saying? It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's like an old school, like super...
Yep.
You know, rap group or hip hop group combined, like a Tribe Called Quest or whatever.
Exactly, and that's kind of what they remind me of. Like that was like a Tribe Called Quest, like lyrically, and then like the Onyx energy.
Yeah, that's a good way. I didn't think about that. That's an awesome way of bringing that in. Yeah, yeah, fucking A, that's cool. So, oh yeah, I'm gonna check out Harry Mack. All right.
So Harry Mack, like I said, he's pretty good. He's sweet. So,
yeah. That's cool. And I had a feeling I said that you were going to be diverse to the music, and clearly you surprised me with the Pearl Jam, because I feel like I don't come across a lot of people that I like. My thing with Pearl Jam is because I did grow up listening to them. They're one of those bands that, for me, didn't age well for me to listen to. I have a hard time saying I'm going to listen to some Pearl Jam. I don't know what it is, but it's really they're one of those bands where it's really difficult for me to play.
And I think that's probably what it is with me too. You know, growing up, like that's a lot of what we listen to. You know what I'm saying? Like Pearl Jam was always playing.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I've got a couple of my friends are super fans.
Right. So you hear a lot of that.
And so, like I said, I was around it a lot. And for me, I've always been a hip hop fan. But more recently, as I get older, like going back and listening to some of the things that I didn't catch, actually, and it's because of the reaction videos, right? And so like I now I find myself going back and listening to a lot of the stuff and like catching the things that they were actually saying,
right,
as opposed to, you know, just like, you know, liking it because it was a jam, or, you know, singing along just to sing along, or, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of those reaction videos, especially like with Eminem.
Yeah.
Going back and actually realizing like how dope Eminem is, dude.
Yeah.
Like the lyrics, because I mean, you listen to it and you hear it, but you don't break it down. You know what I'm saying? To, you know, break it down to what he's actually saying. And so
that whole thing with the Diddy thing, I think you sent that to me first. I think, didn't you send that to me? Like what he was talking about, like was that like a silent like nod? And like it's Eminem, so you gotta expect it probably is. But like you're right on that. Like you go back and listen to his music, and you start realizing that you're already hearing it. You already know, okay, that's pretty crazy. This is nuts, or this sounds good, and then ends up being a little bit more layered than you thought, and like even almost like a hidden layer. It's like, god damn, like.
Well, it's just the way that he pronounces words, or the way that he puts the structure together, his cadence. As he's in a song, sometimes, you know, he'll ride the beat like he's just another instrument. You know what I'm saying? Like his voice is like the rhythm of the song. But then he'll say things, and you have to go back and you have to think about, like, what the hell did he just say? Yeah. Like his new album, I don't know if you've listened to it at all.
I haven't really listened to it much. No.
It's crazy. Yeah. Just the things that he puts together, the way that he says things. Because like I said, you'll listen to it, and then like you actually almost need to listen to the songs and have the lyrics up at the same time. Yeah. Because what you think you hear.
Yeah, because you got to comprehend it.
You have to see what he's actually saying. Or whatever. Because he'll say a word that you think is the word that he's saying, but it's not actually the word. It's like it's two words put together to create a word that sounds like a word. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's how like intricate like his shit is. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds like him. Yeah.
Or he'll use it in like the compound syllables or whatever. So he might use a word, and you know, it'll have 10 syllables, you know, because he breaks it down like that, you know what I'm saying? So that's like the bar, you know, and so then people actually complain about that sometimes with him or whatever, because they're like, he's just rhyming words to get, like, no, he's not. He's like rhyming words with the syllables or whatever to other words, you know, so he might be taking something in the middle of a syllable and rhyming that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Not just the first part or not just the end part. Right. You know, so.
Whereas most people do it a different, like, traditionally.
Yeah.
Do that a different way to rhyme like that. That's fucking.
And so that's why I think, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, hip hop's not music, this and that. You know, I disagree. You know, I think if you listen to it the way that it's meant to be listened to, you know, as opposed to just hearing what you think they're saying, you know, and then you get a different perspective.
Always makes me think of White Man Can't Jump when Billy Hoyle is telling. Cindy Dean that he likes listening to Jimmy,
right?
And that's when Cindy Dean's like, "You're not hearing
right,
Jimmy.
Right.
You like to listen to Jimmy, but you're not hearing." No.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly. So
that's funny. That's how they make me think of that. So,
but no, yeah, it's always been a big part for me. And like I said, I like weird things. I actually like EDM, and I like trap, and I like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could go to a concert and just, listen to beats all day, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm good with that.
That's
like,
cool.
My kids actually make fun of me because, like, I listen to some of the new hip-hop, too. I'm not, like, just an old school, like, you know.
Back in my day
or whatever. So
I'm a little bit like that, I'll be honest.
Yeah, Mason actually used to make fun of me because I would play the one song, The Box by Roddy Ricch. Like, I like have it on repeat just because I love the beat.
Right.
You know, and I love the way that, like I said, he harmonizes it within the song and shit. And like, Mason would make fun of me. Like, how many times you gonna listen to that song, Dad? Like, I don't know.
When you're from the old school, though, not only that, but that's what you would do on your CD. You would always like, do that or put something on repeat, because when you hear something new, like you're trying to like analyze it, or you're trying to catch it. You're trying to hear it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't know that a lot of people still do that to this day. It's probably one of our old things that we still do. But I definitely sometimes when it comes to music, I'm a little bit of grandpa on it. And of course, I listen to a lot of different shit as well too, and a lot of it definitely these days leans more metal or whatever. But my love for 90s music, like all the way from R&B, like R&B is one of my all-time favorite genres, and a lot of people are like, wait, what? Like, you really like R&B? I'm like, yeah, like I've got Boys to Men posters over there rolled up somewhere.
Right.
That was like my thing growing up. Like, of all my bands and people I listened to, I was a huge Boys to Men fan, like massive Boys to Men fan. That's what really got me into, I think, to like more of like that R&B, and that was really my gateway into R&B, I think, honestly, at the end of the day. But man, hip hop and things like that, like honestly, some of my fucking earliest hip hop jokes I know a little bit now on it, but I literally grew up not on the TV show The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which I did love, don't get me wrong. I grew up on DJ Jazzy Jeff and The Fresh Prince. Yeah. Like, that was like albums worth prior to even, I think, Fresh Air was on TV like that.
Oh, for real. Yeah, like, same. Like, Hard Not to Love Summertime. You know what I'm saying? Like, Hard Not to Love, what's the Freddie song that he's got?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, so
Yeah, right?
Nightmare, so.
Nightmare on Elm Street. And like Code Red, their album Code Red, like front to back, that huge fan of that album. Like, I just love that album.
So, the Freddie song that he had, actually, fun fact is, New Line wouldn't let them use the actual Freddie. In the original, there's two different versions of the Nightmare song.
Is there?
Yeah, and so
Nightmare on My Street. That's what
Nightmare
it is.
on My Street. So,
Elm Street. My bad.
And so there's two different versions of it, and like so
That's
the one version it's really Freddie, and then the other version it's not. It's some guy, like, it's a weird looking mask and shit like that. Like, it might have been like they didn't have Wish.com back then, but that's what you would picture the mask looking like. It's like the Wish.com mask, you know.
Right. One of my favorite songs theirs is the one where he thinks he can. I think I can beat Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah.
I love that beat on that as well too.
So I mean, that, like I said, you listen to the beats, like the beats back then were phenomenal too. Because LL Cool J was another one. LL was
he just
totally
dropped new music,
bro. He's got a new song with Eminem. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, holy fuck. Because I too, like, I feel like not a lot of people talk about LL Cool J, and he's like one of like the old school like goats in my opinion. It's also KRS-One, who doesn't get the love that he deserves as well too. That's another name a lot of people probably don't know at all, but LL Cool J, I grew up a lot of, like, I loved LL Cool J growing up as well too.
He was one of the people too that started using like compound syllables, and so when he was rhyming, and like, I mean, there was obviously a whole host of other people that did that as well, but like Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane was one that used compound syllables, and Tretch from Naughty by Nature.
Naughty by Nature.
Yeah, a lot of, he doesn't get a lot of love either. Like, he's not on a lot of people's lists or whatever, but he was doing shit back then that nobody else was doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, so he's a big one. And who doesn't like some Hip Hop Hooray? Because he was actually rapping his ass off on Hip Hop Hooray, so or OPP, you know what I'm saying? Like,
There you go. So, that's the man. That,
yep.
That 90s, that hip hop, that whole era, all of that.
Yeah.
So fucking good. And like you can do it with a lot of different music genres and things like that. Like again, you sit on the porch, you do the grandpa thing about it. But that was definitely the 90s in general was a different era of music that definitely evolved. And I talked about this recently with Half-Assed Beer Review. But the hip hop generally was one of the more special pieces of that as well too. So
well, I actually it's funny because I started watching like old Woodstock videos, and DMX was the head 99 or whatever.
99 Woodstock, yeah.
And I just forgot like how much of an influence he had, right? And so you start watching those old Woodstock videos and you're like, dude, there's like 200,000 people, like 200,000 white guys saying the N-word, and like he's provoking it, like, you know what I'm saying? So that was like a change in like hip hop, and he was cool with that because he knew it was about the music, you know what I'm saying? And so, and people, it was wild because everybody was singing all of it. It wasn't just like they were singing one song.
Yeah.
It's like everybody knew the words to every song that he was up there singing, that's the impact that he had. So, because he was different.
DMX was... I always say like, and I'll show you my Tupac chalk drawing over there. I meant to do that earlier actually, because Tupac was also a huge influence musically for me growing up as well too. I always say the reason that I gravitated towards Tupac and why I gravitated more to like that West Coast kind of sound instead of like the East Coast. I know it seems so old nowadays to do that, but I just want to say, within light of recent things, Pac was right. Just throwing it out there.
100%.
Pac was right. R.I.P.
Right.
But I was, I've always had a short fuse. I'm pretty happy-go-lucky most of the time. But and now that I keep learning as a Sagittarius, like we have our cutoff point is like it's by the limb. Like right. I don't like cut people out. I napalm bridges, whatever. But so I identified with Pac because of his anger, his emotion, because I'm somebody who is very tied to my emotions. I'm just very self-aware of them, unlike a lot of folks, and especially my anger side of it, and in my short fuse. It's why I like the Hulk so much as well too. So Pac was somebody I could identify with, and it doesn't matter that I lived rurally, didn't live in the city, that I was a white dude. It's just like I identified with what he was conveying.
Yeah.
And I say that because once he died, and then all of a sudden DMX came out of nowhere, who was also in a lot of ways like I say this because of the similarity of just his passion for the words he was saying.
Storytellers.
Right.
Yeah.
He sounded angry a lot of the time as well too. And he's very passionate and very gruff about it. So he was somebody just as soon as he came out, I just like, whoa, identified right away with him as well too. Yep. Like in his first few albums, I'm telling you, they're like, it's like listening to a Pac album. It's front to back.
Oh yeah. Like probably his
first 3 or 4 maybe.
Probably first 3 for sure. The fourth one is probably listen all the way through too.
Yeah.
So funny story about that. So I was watching, it was Jay-Z. He was doing an interview with somebody, and he was talking about he was on tour with DMX, and Jay-Z was like the last person to go.
Yeah.
It was like I think Red and Meth and DMX, some other New York. It was a bunch of New York people, so I can't remember what the tour was, but Jay-Z says, everybody went, did their thing, and then DMX comes on, and I guess he started to show like before he was on stage he would growl, right? And Jay-Z was like, so he growls and the crowd goes nuts, and he gets out there, and after he growls, he runs out on stage, and he said the energy is just crazy, crazy, crazy. So he does like half the show, and then the guys are going crazy, and then like he takes off his shirt, and then the girls are going crazy, and then at the very end, he hits them with a prayer.
Yeah.
And he said everybody in the place was crying, and so then he comes off stage, and he's like, yeah, go ahead. And Jay-Z's like, how the hell am I supposed to follow?
Because he was actually, he was a real religious guy, right?
Real religious. And so like each one of his albums, he always had a prayer mixed in there somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and funny thing about that is when I was in college, my first year, I was taking a speech class. And so I was sitting there and I'm just like trying to think of what I wanted to do, and like, you know, that DMX album had just come out, and then I actually did the prayer from the DMX album.
Oh, nice.
You know, as part of my speech, and so yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Memories, man. You start thinking about music and how that influences your life, and you know where you were at when you were listening to a certain song. And
music. Last night, my kid had this concert playing violin. First time since been playing. Now a senior, was first chair, so that was a huge deal, right?
It is a huge
deal. And love that he had chosen violin from the get, because I love violin.
I love violin.
I love classical music. I love orchestra music. I'm a huge fan. Crazy to see him first chair, and I'm going to get to the point here in a moment, and I just want to just say a proud moment real quick. Watching him just, and I'm not as goofy as it is, was Clocks by Coldplay. Clocks by Coldplay, right? Yeah. Which I don't like Coldplay. I'm going to be very honest. But listening to that in that setting and watching him play this on this violin, I was so like, I was like trying to choke back tears. I'm like in public, I'm like, this is incredible right now that I'm hearing this. And all the songs are great, and lead chair as the violin, but that was different because it was more of a solo. And it's just amazing to see and hear that. So, at the end, when the music teacher was thanking everybody and said, I want to thank you parents for this. And she's a great music teacher anyway. She's like, you know, you guys don't realize it, but like, you allowing them to do this gives them the ability to communicate with everybody in the world. She's like, because all cultures communicate through music.
Yeah, 100%.
You might not be able to understand each other, but music is the one thing that you can understand each other. And that like, because what you just said, and just like last night, like, was a click for me. I'm like, I love that, because that's a really great way of packaging it, because, you know, there's a lot of knuckleheads out there these days. We all know it, and I know there's plenty of knuckleheads probably sitting out there as well too. But I hope that something like that's something to me, as who already kind of realizes that those sort of things, that got me thinking. I hope that did that to those folks as well too, because that's a perfect example. And I think that was her way of saying, like, in a world where everybody seems to be at each other's throats, that is something that gives a little bit of perspective to show that we all are connected.
Right.
And music, and what you just said, music is something that, like, a lot of us listen to music. I listen to diverse stuff as well too, but it's always memory unlocking.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go back and listen to, you know, like, I've been on Smashing Pumpkins again in the last few months because they put out new music, and I always joke that was my emo music growing up, with Smashing Pumpkins, you know. So like, I'll listen to it and I'll think back about things or whatever it is, or I'll listen to like All Eyes on Me, like the double disc album of Pac, one of my all-time favorite albums, and I'll just like remember sitting with my cousin just trying to memorize the words and just going through it, and then being like, that's a funny part of the song, or that means, you know, crazy, or that's a lot of swearing, or whatever it is, you know. Music's just different, and I feel like that, you know, of all the things that we talk about that we can share as people, music's again, it's layered, right? It's always layered. That this is one of those things that you can just sit here and just talk for hours about,
100%.
Just share these different experiences with. So, no, I say all that because I really appreciated the way you say that as well too. So,
Mel's a big Smashing Pumpkins fan.
Is she a big fan? Yeah. I'm a super fan of her, by the way. I don't know if you know that. She's
a little wild.
She's the right kind of wild, in my opinion. I'm a big fan of her. I think she's fucking amazing. But, you know, growing up, so obviously a lot of different things. You had, you know, music and stuff going on as well too. But there's one thing that I was really, really interested to hear a little bit about. I don't know if you can add some more context to this. I'm going to share a photo here real quick here. I don't know if you can see that, if that's popped up quite yet there. What's going on in that photo? You recognize that?
Oh, God. Is that a wedding?
Well, from what I understand, is you may have done some modeling back then?
Yeah. I think I did some modeling. I don't know if this is the modeling. Maybe this is the modeling picture. It must be. Did you get this from my mother?
I don't know.
What the hell, bro? Like, how the hell did you get this picture? That's crazy. So I did a little bit of modeling back in the day.
Yeah, well, like,
I definitely thought I was the pimp.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
So
I heard the ladies were a big fan, maybe too.
They was a big fan back then.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah.
But I mean, look at that. How can you not be a fan of that?
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, But it's funny because I'm younger than Liam there, so and
that's what I was gonna tell you is I see Liam in this photo too. When I saw this, I was like, oh my god, I can hold see that.
A lot of Liam in that. So it's wild to think about that. And the thing is like it's Liam's face but Mason's hair. Right. Right. Because Liam's hair is straight, like bone straight, you know, and Mason literally has the curly hair that if he wanted to, he could have an afro, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
and I can't grow it.
I can't grow it either.
These fucking kids growing the hair like that's great.
It's irritating. But yeah, that's a wild ass picture. Yeah. And you either talk to my mom or Mel. So
when's the last time you seen this picture?
I haven't seen this picture in probably since I was that old. Honestly, I don't even know when the last time was. I don't even have that picture. So my mom gave me a ton of pictures. Yeah. And I don't even have that one. So I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to figure that one out someday.
That's bro.
I tell you, I got a big shovel, man.
I guess so.
People don't even realize. Well, you realized.
I thought maybe he talks to Sue-Ann, you know, and get a couple stories out of her. You know, I didn't realize it was going that deep, bro.
We don't fuck around here,
that's
man.
That's messed up, bro.
Yeah.
When? Like, that's what I want to know.
I don't know. Man. I don't know. There's always time in the day. And I know we were talking about it beforehand as well, too. And, you know, I'm sitting here drinking a Vizzy. It's a Friday night. That's kind of what I do.
I might need a Vizzy after this.
You might need a shot when you get home tonight. Yeah, Jesus, because we're not done yet. That's for sure.
Oh my God.
But I did hear that you were a big fan of drinking at one time.
Was.
Yeah, you were. What was your drink of poison or drink of poison of choice?
It didn't even actually matter.
Didn't matter.
I don't think so at that point in time. So, and it was only really a span because I never was like even a drinker in like high school or anything like that. Yeah. But once I got to Central Michigan, and I actually didn't go to Central Michigan. I just had all my friends went to Central Michigan.
Trust me, I know CMU does that to you. I'm very familiar.
So, but I drank pretty heavy for a while there. Probably up, you know, so maybe like I probably started drinking when I was 20, maybe a little bit younger. Because I think I was getting into the bar in Flint, and I was drinking there when I was maybe.
If you live in Michigan, didn't start drinking 19, before you're 21 back then.
Well, I was actually afraid to drink because of my mom. My mom actually instilled that like fear in me. So like I maybe had a couple drinks like staying at a friend's house or something like that, you know. But I didn't drink hardly at all. Until after high school.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so, but then once I started drinking, it was, definitely the social drink all the time, probably thing, you're living with your buddies, being up in Central. Like I said, there was times where I'd stay the whole week up in Central. Like I was taking my vacations at work because I was working at where I'm working now.
Oh, damn.
And all my friends were going to Central because it was 2001 when I hired in.
Yeah.
So, and I had money back then too, so I'm a kid, I'm living at home,
you're working your butt off,
I'm making money, $23-24 an hour in 2001 2002.
Holy shit, are you serious?
Yeah. And so wow, I was making all type of money, but I was also spending all my money up in Central.
Were you guys doing whiskey or did you guys do dirty 30s at all?
We did. Oh, for sure, the dirty 30, so like multiple those a night. Whiskey, I think, when I started drinking, I liked more of the flavorful shit, so Alizé.
There you go. Hypnotic.
Yeah, the Hypnotic. So I did like the Red Passion. Alizé was my big thing there for a while. And then I liked, I was drinking the Hennessy.
Oh, because you did that too?
Yeah. And so,
I saw a photo today that said, on Facebook, my buddy's meme account, meme, posted a picture of Hennessy and Hypnotic and said, I guess what were we thinking back then?
What the fuck were we doing for real?
So what was the combination that had you pass out on some train tracks?
God, Jesus Christ! It was the Red Passion. I drank a fifth of Red Passion Alizé.
Yeah,
and
little Alizé.
I think the Henny. I think I drank like half a fifth of Henny.
God damn.
And
were you up Central on the train tracks?
Central on the train tracks, yeah.
Because it's right next to because the train tracks run right through like some of the main areas right there.
Right over there by the
towers.
By the towers.
Yeah.
And there's the 7-Eleven.
Oh yeah, very familiar.
Yeah, you're familiar.
Very familiar, man.
So I don't even remember. Obviously, I don't remember how I got to the train tracks. I do remember my buddies saying, because they all called me JoJo.
Right.
So we'll get to that in a second too, because that has a little bit to do with some drinking. And so they're like, Joe, dude, you're laying on the tracks. And I didn't believe them, at all. Like, they're like, get off the ring. You're on the tracks, dude. So they had to drag me off, apparently.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, so that was, kids, plug your ears. And yeah, so that was a wild moment in there. And so it was a blackout moment.
Imagine.
And I don't black out a lot. And so I've only really had like maybe 2 or 3 blackout moments. Because
maybe one.
Once I get to that point, I usually puke.
Okay.
I can't ever get to a blackout moment because my stomach just doesn't let me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's probably the same, I'd imagine, me.
And so I can't get there. But that night I did. I'm sure I was probably drinking something else and probably smoking and
mixing, crisscrossing them.
Yeah, doing a bunch of shit that I shouldn't have been doing. And so, that was a bad moment. I think I'm not quite. I might have been under 21 at the time for that one. So
you have the Central. I wouldn't have been surprised.
Yeah. So
everybody hitting up the meat market after.
I'm pretty sure I was young at that time. I think that's when my buddies had just got up there. Were they still in the dorm or were they in the house?
I stayed in Towers for a semester, and that was a wild time.
Yeah, so it was pretty wild. So they actually, you know what the flat roof is? You ever seen the flat roof? It's back by off of Washington. So there's a flat roof house. They had that the year after they were out of the tower, and then it was a 1011. I think it was 1011 Washington is the house. They were like in between, there was a sorority on the one side.
Was that down in Greektown area?
Yeah.
Maybe I am kind of familiar.
So there was like a sorority on the one side of them, and then the other side was like there was another sorority or something back there. But it was fun. I mean, we had a great time there. Central was crazy. I did a lot of dumb shit in Central.
Would throw some parties, yeah.
Yeah. So
let's hear about JoJo.
So JoJo came about right before Central, or right around Central time, I guess. I threw a party. It was the only time my parents had left me like home alone for a weekend. And I'm like, oh yeah, let's have a party, like obviously things, and so
obviously,
had a party. We didn't want it to get busted, and so somebody was like, it's JoJo's 40th birthday. I think it was my friend Zeke, and so then we made a sign that said happy 40th Joe, and put it outside, and then like we were all wearing like old people hats and shit like that, like out.
Pretty fucking smart,
right? Pretty smart, right?
I think that's pretty fucking smart.
So, kids don't listen to that.
Right? Yeah, you ain't hearing this.
Yeah. So that's how JoJo came, and then everybody started calling me JoJo, and then it was a bit year after year.
Yeah.
How old's JoJo? How old's JoJo's 41 this year? JoJo's 42 this year. So like even now they're like, how old's JoJo? And I'm like, she's got to be like 60 now.
Right. Like, some of those guys still call you JoJo.
So, oh yeah, a lot of them do. So like I think some of the people in Central don't even know what my real name is.
Right. That's funny. That's
because everybody called me Joe or JoJo or
well, where'd Tricky Regent come from?
Yeah, that's a good story too. So Tricky Regent is actually, I had Carl Easley as my gamer tag, right?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
I wonder if this is gamer tag related.
So I didn't know where, and something happened, and I lost that. Like Carl usually got like the password wasn't right or something like that, and then like there was no way to like reset the password and shit.
Right.
And so then I had to make up a new one, and then the new one, it actually just came up Tricky Regent. It was what Xbox gave me, and so I was like,
as a gamer tag.
And
funny.
I'm like, well, that's kind of cool,
Yeah.
So I kind of kept that and ran with that. But then the more I thought about it, like it actually kind of fit my personality.
Yeah.
And then I like attribute it to like Loki.
Yeah.
Because who's Loki? He's the tricky Regent, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they fucking go.
Right. Yeah.
I always call it trickety trick.
Trickety trick.
Trickety trick.
Yep.
Trickety trick.
So
yeah,
that's where the tricky Regent. That's why I use like the Loki logos and things like that. So
that's cool. I didn't know that. See, I learned something. Even see, I'm always learning something as well too.
Yeah. So I really said like so once I kind of figured out. Actually, I didn't even know what Regent was for a minute. You know, and then somebody was like, "Oh yeah, that's dope." You know, that's and somebody I think actually mentioned Loki, and then I didn't realize like the Regent was the guy that sat in for the king while the king was away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so then when you think of tricky Regent, you know what did Loki do?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He sat in and he's the trickster, and so so it was kind of cool.
That's actually pretty fucking neat.
Yeah, it was kind of dope, right? You know, when you think about that and how it all kind of coordinated. So, but then I've just been running with that gamer tag now. I had that when I got the Xbox, you know, so that was that's what it was.
Crazy. Okay, that's
nope,
not at all. I expected it to be a story, but I didn't expect it to be like that, and then also to evolve. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
right on. All right. Well,
so like I say, I've been rocking that for a long ass time, and that was I think I'm trying to think how old Mason was, because Mason was always into the sports games. You know, so when I first started letting him game, it was like, you know, we were doing, you know, Madden and stuff like that, you know, and even like Mortal Kombat. We did a little bit of Mortal Kombat. And a lot of times I would just give him a controller and he would sit there and act like he was playing.
Yeah, he thought he was playing. Smartest way to do it.
While I was playing. And
right. Oh, man, you beat me, huh?
Yeah, and so then he would actually play, and then he started getting good. And, you know, I did do the thing, like, I never let him win when... I didn't really kind of believe in that. Like I always used to just stomp his ass, you know what I'm saying? But then I kind of thought about it. I'm like, well, it's not good for him because then he's not going to want to play. Yeah. You know, if I like,
you got to kind of throw it a couple times.
You got to throw it and, you know, do that, you know, 'cause I don't think that's good for kids to let them win like that. You know, you got to let them, make them earn it, you know. But then they started earning it and then they were like, for real, kicking my ass.
Yeah, beating your ass. You're planning to play Mortal Kombat. Now you don't want to play.
Right. You know.
Fuck it. That's funny.
And the other thing is, too, it's funny because, like, when they started playing, Mason has his own account. You know, I gave Mason his own account, and then Liam generally just uses mine, even though he's got his own account or whatever. But you know, because I run two game passes for us. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
you got to.
So we both can play at the same time and shit. You know, and so Mason has his own, and then I made Liam his. But when he logs on, he never switches over to it, and so he's been using my account like the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Because he can have his own account as long as I'm logged in.
Right, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But
okay.
So yeah.
Well, shit. We know it ain't cheap having multiple accounts. And you got family account. I know dude deals with that too, or some of that
hopefully
shit.
Microsoft isn't listening, but they fuck up every month. They only charge me for one account. Because one gets denied. You
gotta mute this.
I know, right?
Yeah.
You're right. So
keep that on the low.
Keep that on the low. So,
yeah. Watch out.
So that's what I said. I was like, hoping they ain't listening.
Phil Spencer come knocking on your door soon. Like this motherfucker.
It works. It actually ends up working out pretty well. So, but for a long time, you only needed one account.
Yeah, you did.
You know, and then they changed it at some point in time, a few years ago or whatever, where now you have to have multiple accounts.
Yeah, it's like Netflix selling. You can't have your friend have your Netflix account, because they're not making it. Whatever.
Which I think is bullshit, because if I can buy a physical copy and let my friend use it, then what does it matter if I'm...
It's funny how, right.
You know.
It's never about perspective when it comes to that side of it, that's for sure. So, well, shit, I know we're running really well here on some time, so I think it is a good time to probably give the last few questions here. We're going to bring it home. He's a little bit more rapid than probably some of the others. Okay. I think we could probably sit here and talk for fucking hours.
Sure, we probably
no
could.
doubt I'll have you back on at some point for some conversation. Music seems to be another good one that we could probably dive in deep as well, too, and talk some music as well, too, since we're, old guys from the block, from the old 90s there. So, what's a controversial hot take that you have? You'll die in the hill.
Die on the hill.
Yeah, controversial hot take. Now I feel like that you may have actually a pretty good handful, because I feel like me and dude get on you for some shit.
Yeah, you guys do.
We get on you a lot, but what's one that comes to mind that you're like, yeah, I'm never gonna agree with anybody.
Wednesday was better than what was the other one? Stranger Things, the season.
Oh, fucking A. That was one of them, wasn't it?
That was one of them, right?
That was, I think that was one of them. You said, because that Wednesday season came out at the same time as that.
Yeah, there's a Stranger Things or whatever.
Things,
and so,
right?
and people are like, and I know it's a big bit or
right?
whatever, so I think it came out right around the same, or it was one for the year or something like that, or whatever they did. And so, but whatever season was out for Stranger Things, I don't know if it was the last season or if it was the season before.
I think it was the last season.
Was it the last season? I'm not sure.
See if I can get it here. First season Wednesday was released in 2022. The fifth season, no, not that one. What was the fourth season of Netflix? Expected in the summer. I think the first part of it did come out in 2022.
Yeah,
but
maybe the first part. But I know that either way, whatever it was, you know, and I think it was the first part.
No, it was all in 2022.
Was it in 2022?
Yep, both parts were. So you were right. They both did came out then, and then because that was one, because when we did our pyramid for that.
Yeah.
You said that you thought Wednesday was a better season than the last season of Stranger Things, and we all about
you guys about had a heart attack.
Yeah, I think we all came at you with broken bottles.
For me,
and for the record, that season 1 was awesome.
Season 1 was awesome, you know, and I love Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Right, and so that the whole production for me was awesome, right? Mm-hmm. Stranger Things had kind of already been done, you know. Don't get me wrong, Stranger Things was awesome.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, like, but we knew kind of like how the production was and that, and I'm talking about. I'm not saying that the story was necessarily better. For me, the production was better. You know what I'm saying? So I just felt like in Stranger Things we already have visited that world. You know what I'm saying? Like we already kind of knew. Don't get like the whole thing when they're, you know, in the upside down or whatever, that was dope as shit, right? You know, so when Eddie's playing the guitar, all that shit. So that don't get me, like I said, that was awesome. But like I said, we have already been on Stranger Things. You know what I'm saying? For me, that being a new series, and when it came out, I just found more enjoyable. You know what I'm saying? Like I liked like I said, the whole production, where it went, because I'm a big Addams Family fan as well. You know, people were mad because Gomez looked like how he looked or whatever, but that's how he was originally. That's how he was originally
back, like in the cartoon, or like the old cartoons, or the old
comics, and
whatever. Like,
so
Luis Guzman was
he was like perfect for that.
Perfect for that role. I love Luis Guzman.
And like I said, I thought the story was interesting. You know, just to kind of see that, you know, the kind of backstory of Wednesday, and you know how that whole thing is. I'm actually kind of curious, like, you know, could you do something like that with Pugsley? You know, how would that translate? Because Pugsley's never really been.
He's never really been like a character that's gotten a lot of limelight whatsoever at all.
It's always been Wednesday messing with him. You know,
right, or something about Fester or whatever. Yeah, okay.
You know, but like I said, for me, I mean, that's what it is. Like I said, it's my controversial.
Yeah, that's a very good controversial hot take that I don't agree with at all.
I know. So
perfect, perfect for B&B content
right
around here. Let's set the tone. Keeping all you have learned so far, would you rather live forever or rewind time one time?
That's a tough one.
I think it's a great question. That's why I came up with it.
You know, that's you know, would I want to change anything? Like, I don't know if I would want to go back and change anything, because I think I am who I am because of the crazy shit that's happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But living forever is tough too, because
all the people you love, you have to watch them die.
You got to watch them die.
Watch the sun burn out.
Yeah, so that's a tough one. You know,
there's a Queen song or two you can check out from the original Highlander that really gives clue to how this plays out.
Right.
Who wants to live forever?
Right. You know, and so that is tough. Speaking of that, like the Highlander, you look at that and you're just kind of like, you know, you see that in the Highlander movie, so it's.
Well, hey, if they're doing a bunch of sword fighting and getting quickenings, I might want to be doing that.
I know, yeah, that might be a little bit different. So
omnipotent power if you win. So,
but yeah, I don't know, you know, and it's hard to say too, because the knowledge that you would build, though.
Yeah.
you know, if you do live forever, you know, if you wanted to go that route, you know, you'd obviously
rewound time one time and said, hey, by the way, in 1999 or whatever, you turned 21, why don't you invest some stock in Apple?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could probably do something like that.
You know,
but at the same time, though, too, like, so if you rewind time, what type of time travel are we talking about? Are we talking about Back to the Future style? Or are we talking about timeline style? Like, you're getting into the Loki shit. You know what I'm saying?
Nowadays, I know that's the thing, because we grew up with the Back to the Future thought process, and then you start watching this Marvel shit, and they're adding another layer to it. And you're like, God damn it, I didn't think it. Like, they're thinking more complex about it as well too. You know, so
yeah. So I guess it would just depend on, you know, how I was rewinding time, because if I could do something like that, then maybe. But then again, that alters the course of what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you think about it like timeline wise, because I guess if I could go back and be in my old self's body with the knowledge that I have today, then maybe I might do that. But then that still changes the course, because you still know shit about how the life is gonna turn out, you know. So it's hard, you know, because you do one thing differently, and then, you know, I don't have a Liam and I don't have a Mason, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that's a tough question. So I guess if I'm gonna do point blank, I would do it, but I would do it probably the last time somebody won the Mega Million.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Get
so
the numbers.
I wouldn't go back that far, you know.
Yeah.
So if I could go back,
Powerball numbers.
get the Powerball numbers and call it good or whatever, you know. I wouldn't want to live forever. It's just too much, you know.
Yeah, I get it. I think I go back and forth on this one a lot, and I think it depends on the day you catch me. But right now, again, I'm thinking of, as I'm looking around here in what looks like a 14-year-old boy's room, and I hoard everything. I almost feel like I'm fucking Highlander right now, like holding all my shit. So I'm like, I think Immortal might fit me better as well too, and probably because I'm a Sagittarius and don't give a shit about a lot of things. So, all right. Well, another question for you. So, tighty whities or a boxer guy?
Boxers.
Yeah. Now, growing up, you were a tighty whities guy, though, right?
A tighty whitey guy.
Yeah.
You motherfucker.
Yeah. Oh.
So.
What did
I'm not pass.
What did you
pass?
So as far as that doesn't happen around here. So your tighty whities, it's convenient. They got a pocket.
Yeah, they got a pocket, and you know you can store shit in it.
Would you store? What would you? What kind of shit would you store in that?
Some cars, you know, some.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, some. Probably Legos and shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Cars and Legos. Were you known for storing stuff in that pocket?
I guess so. I know. Yeah.
You guess so.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Were you?
That's too funny. Yeah.
Yeah. You sure about that?
Yeah. Oh, so well.
Nothing else?
Yeah, I'm sure there probably was other stuff. So.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I remember like cars. That's all I remember. So, yeah.
Of all things, so you just run around your tighty whities and say, "I'm going to put my Hot Wheel right here."
I guess I was probably like 4 years old.
Yeah. Okay. So. Storing stuff in your tighty whitey pocket.
Yeah.
Damn. Is that a notorious joke in the family, or did that ever come up?
I think it was when I was maybe a little bit younger, but it doesn't come up too much anymore. So we don't actually have. You know, the thing is we don't really have like huge family get-togethers anymore. You know, like. We used to do it a lot when I was younger, but my aunts passed away, and my uncle's kind of around still, but not really. So it's like, you know, we don't do a whole lot of like family functions, like get-togethers and things like that. So that stuff doesn't normally come up. It's more or less now that they come and watch the kids play. You know, so. Christmas, you know, Thanksgiving, you know, that type of stuff.
It's hard. As we talked about. So I know, man, time just keeps slipping, and we just keep finding less and less time to do things that we'd like to do or used to do. I get it. All right. Well, last big question here. Last one I typically ask everybody. Last day on Earth. Some apocalyptic events happening tomorrow, cataclysmic enough to where the Earth is going to explode. You have your last meal. You can choose 5 meal items and 2 drinks.
Definitely pizza.
Okay. Specific type, specific kind, place, topping.
Probably maybe cottage Inn barbecue chicken.
Okay, so you're a cottage Inn. Do you like pineapple on your pizza?
I do like pineapple.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, that might have been a hot take too. Like pineapple is great on pizza.
No, it's not a hot take. Fuck everybody. I don't think so. Fuck that. I'll
I love
fight
pineapple.
it
So
all day. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah. People do love the barbecue chicken from. I don't like barbecue pizzas. I'm not really a barbecue sauce guy, but like I feel like everybody talks about the cottage Inn one specifically. So
that one's really good.
So
probably do that. 4 more.
Yeah. Can be anything. Can be a side. It can be a main dish. It's sky's the limit on this.
Smoked mac and cheese.
Smoked mac and cheese. Okay. It's a good one.
Chicken wings.
Chicken wings. Any specific type of flavor from
Just smoked,
spot?
like sometimes it smokes chicken wings.
Just smoked. You sauce them or you do like a dry rub?
Nope. They're like probably just like salt wings.
Salt. Okay.
Yep. So
Okay. So kind of more plain at that point.
They're kind of plain, but you're gonna have to come next time you're in Davison.
Yeah.
Go to Madden's and get their salt wings.
Madden's to get the salt wings.
Yeah,
okay.
So, you're gonna be like,
holy fuck!
What the fuck have I been
Okay.
missing?
Okay.
With
Good.
just plain salt wings, you know.
Okay.
So, yep. So Madden's salt wings for sure.
Okay.
Was that 3?
Yep. You got 3.
Western omelet.
Ooh, from where? Anywhere specific?
Probably the Genesee Coney.
Okay. Oh, Coney's make some of the best food. We all know that.
Yep.
So Western omelet, we're talking like the onions, green pepper, ham, probably cheese.
Yep.
Cheese. No mushroom.
No mushroom.
We don't do that mushroom around here. You don't do that
mushroom. So
okay.
That's probably one of my favorites. And then probably my wife's white chicken chili.
You've talked about this.
Yeah.
That has come up before.
Yes.
White chicken. We're going to talk to her sometime because I got to try this white chicken chili. Because
her white chicken chili is probably the best I've ever had.
And white chicken chili is an underrated dish, period. You don't hear enough about. But the few times I've had it and be like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Okay.
And so I think I could, last day on earth, I'd be good with that. So
okay. Now you got 2 drinks.
2 drinks, I would probably take cherry Coke.
Okay.
Because that's
cherry Coke one of your
favorite.
Things?
Yeah,
okay.
Cherry Coke's one of my favorites. And then
you're gonna say Alizé, aren't you? Just kidding.
I haven't fucking had Alizé since
not since I passed out.
Probably a cold ass glass of milk.
Cold ass. Oh, so you're a milk guy? Okay.
I'm a milk guy.
Straight milk right from the fucking udder, the teat.
Yeah. So no, it doesn't have to be like that type of milk, but I like my milk actually like with ice cubes. Like, people are like, what? Like it is a little milk with ice, so
that is not something I've ever really done. So definitely
I don't need, like I said, it's the last day. I don't need a bottle of whiskey or whatever or anything like that, So if it's the last day on earth, like I just want to be happy and in my spot.
Okay. That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? So
I think that's fair.
Right.
Yeah, I do. I've actually recently switched to almond milk later in life. I still love milk and I just did that because I know it's easier on my body too. Like as men, as you get older, I think a lot of calcium's bad for you if I remember correctly. And I love almond milk. I like oat milk. Almond milk's just cheaper. But whether it's straight from the teat or whether I'm also a milk guy because I feel like a lot of generations these days like are weirded out when people just want a glass of milk. Right. And I'm like eating peanut butter and jelly. I'm like, glass of milk. Gotta have a glass of milk. I love milk. I'm a cereal guy as well too. Love cereal still. So no, I'm
a huge cereal guy too. Like if I had to change one, I might change it and go with cereal because Cinnamon Toast Crunch is my jam.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's one of the goats.
Yeah,
it should be on everybody's Mount Rushmore when it comes to cereal, hands down. Hands fucking down. Good. Well, that's it. That is the gauntlet. So, I want to say, first of all, I appreciate you doing this. I have a lot of respect for you as a person, especially as a dad. You're an awesome dad. You do such great stuff as a family man with those boys. Like we've already talked about, we're also big fans as well too.
Yeah.
I don't I don't have kids of my own except for my step. Technically I do, but you know what I mean? Now he's kind of getting older as well too. So it's always nice to be able to share those experiences still with also friends and their kids as well too. Cause like I said, it's for the children, right? Yeah. So it's always about that too. Yep. So,
and you guys, you've been around them long enough where you guys are like, uncles. You know what I'm saying? You guys are like family to them.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like
that's why, and that's probably why I get so excited when I see the Facebook posts, the TikToks, the you know, when they're in town playing soccer, man. It's like, you know, it's just something special. Just, you know, they're great kids, and I love seeing them do what they're doing and watching them grow. And even, I mean, over the 4.5, 5 years now at this point, it's fucking mind blowing to me, because I just, even Liam, just remember, it's just little guy. So, so I really appreciate that, you know. And honestly, like, as I'm shoveling and digging dirt on you, the funny thing is that every single time I was trying to do that, maybe minus your wife, but everyone said that you know, you're just so nice and they're so proud of you. Proud came up a couple of times, very honestly, about just you as a person, and that's a big thing to me, because I have my entire life always talked about legacy and the legacy you leave. And you know, I always think about, like, you know, when my granddad died and there was no room for anybody anywhere in this funeral, because he had connected with so many people in his life. And you know, a lot of people say I'm a lot like him, because I'll go anywhere and know people as well too, and meet people and like to meet people. To me, that's my personal legacy. And like to hear people say that about you, that's legacy.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool to hear too.
Yeah,
you know,
everybody said that you're so nice and they're proud of you, man. And that's worth its weight in gold in life.
Oh, 100%.
That's
and I'm good with that. You know, if I can, you know, hear people say that they're proud of me, and you know, that I feel like I've been doing something right, you know, at least for a little while anyway. You know, like,
you're doing it right, man.
Didn't always feel like it, you know what I'm saying, but you know, looking back at life and kind of seeing that the hand I was dealt, you know what I'm saying, like, I feel like I turned out all right. You know what I'm saying. So
Yep. It doesn't matter what hand you get dealt; it's how you play the cards.
Exactly.
You know. And we know that from the gambler as well too. But you know, you just got to do the best you can. Like, you know, I grew up in rurally and was poor part of my life, and my mom worked her ass off to make sure we had everything we need. You know, and you know, I turned out all right too. So you know, it works out, right?
Yep, and, it sure does.
I said that was one of the great things that anytime I tried to dig dirt on people with you, was, he's so great and nice and so proud of him. It's like, God damn it, you're gonna make this hard for me now. Right. So I appreciate you being a good sport.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So for sure.
Lots of stuff. Like I said, I knew he was gonna come up with some shit, but I didn't know what it was gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know who you were talking to. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the other thing too. I'm like, some of the shit that you said, I'm like, Swan doesn't even know some of that shit. So I'm like, who the hell are you talking to?
I will put it to you like this. This is the one time I'll say this for right now on Let's Set the Tone, is I have no qualms about hanging out and reaching out to strangers.
Right.
I have no problem with it. I'll do whatever I have to do.
That's wild.
At all. So
yeah.
But that's gonna do that for this episode. Let's Set the Tone with Tricky Regent, Boo Boo as well too. Jojo. Yeah. Trickety Trick. Just a few updates. There will be no B&B show, of course, until the 23rd. So if you're checking us out, you know, in post, audio, or YouTube, whatever, nothing until the 23rd. However, we'll try to have content for you periodically. Matter of fact, this Sunday, which will be whatever the date it is, because I don't know my dates right now, at 8 p.m., Dude is going to be playing some Silent Hill. That new Silent Hill, like, remake or whatever it is, just came out, and he's going to be playing that. It's been getting some pretty good reviews. He's never played it, so that should be fun. It's that type of year now for all the spooky games. And then as far as Let's Set the Tone, honestly, I don't know when I'm going to be able to get another episode in. October is actually really, really packed for me. I have a wedding next weekend for Wentzilla. And then I think the following week, the following week we're going down to visit Draston. And then the week after that, I think I got stuff going on. So my goal is to get some recorded content. If you've not checked out the first episode of The World According to Tone, which is other supplement content I'm doing for B&B, I did an unboxing. That's pretty fun. It's very, very, very rudimentary. There's a lot of things I got to tweak, but I want to get something out there because to me, like, putting stuff out there as well too, even though it's rudimentary, is me also test piling it and see what works and what doesn't. So I got some changes coming to that, but a lot of stuff coming. I got a bunch of paints now too, acrylic paints, so I'll probably put out some action figure content here soon.
That's gonna be cool too. I can't wait to kind of see that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. I can't be Wenzilla probably out the gates, but I'm gonna try as well too. So, but we do appreciate any of the content you support here at B&B Banter and Babble, and all of the Let's Set the Tone, the Rage streams, the game streams, and of course now World According to Tone. So, as if you're out there listening, please don't forget to make sure to like, follow, sub, hit that bell as well too. So when we do go live or drop new stuff, get those notifications. Make sure to comment out there, give us feedback as well too. And as always, check that link tree because the merch store is finally together after all this time.
Yeah, you hear that, man? I need a hat, snapback.
We got to get him a snapback hat. I got to put one together for you.
Yeah.
This is going to do it for this episode once again. So take care. We appreciate you, and we will see you very soon.
There you go.